tournament. Team Del Vecchio ended up taking it all, but there were a lot of players that played really, really well throughout that 3-on-3. I'm joined here by Ken Kale and Art Regner, and we're going to give you a little breakdown of that 3-on-3 before we get into today's scrimmage. Guys, what did you think overall of the tournament?
I thought the work ethic was great, and I thought it was entertaining for the fans, and it's always nice to see 3-on-3 action. I know talking with a couple of guys after the game, they were saying how gassed they were because that's a lot of skating, especially when they're not used to skating here in the summertime. But it was great for the fans. Several players stood out, and the guys that we were talking about that are hopeful to be future Red Wings, guys like Joe Veleno, I thought was terrific, and Mo Sider, the number one draft choice for the Red Wings in this past draft, looked really solid. And some other guys we never hear about had some good opportunities as well. So overall, I thought it was a good 3-on-3 tournament.
I think that you can tell over the past few seasons here, the Red Wings have had a large amount of draft picks in each draft, and there's a lot of talent on the ice. I couldn't agree more with Ken. I thought that especially the guys that are at university, that are in college, this is it for them. This is their only opportunity to really shine. And if you look at a guy like Casper Kotzkonsalo, who did not score a goal last year for Boston University, granted he's a shutdown defenseman, but he had a couple of goals, he had a couple of assists. Jack Adams, all he does in this environment is get points. And I also thought that Mo Sider looked very, very good. And so I think overall for quote-unquote being summer hockey, the pace was good. I'm more interested to see, even though they're all young men, how they rebound today, because this is a quick turnaround, and it's still an audition. I mean, today, the guys that are going to go to their European teams or back to their college teams and won't be able to go to the prospects tournament and then Red Wing training camp, this is their impression. This is what they're going to have to really, again, just up their game, make an impression on Steve Yzerman and the Red Wing staff. And then the guys that are free agents, camp invitees, their next step is to be impressive enough so they get an invite to be on the Red Wing roster for the prospects tournament, hopefully play well there, and then get an invite to training camp. And that's what Caden Fulcher did a couple of years ago. And, you know, he's now signed by the Red Wings and playing in Toledo.
Let's talk about the goaltending a little bit, because we mentioned some of it yesterday. You know, it's really hard to be a goaltender in a 3-on-3 situation, and they were hung out to dry a little bit, and there was a lot of scoring. And we did see Philip Larson. He gave up 8 in one of the games, but he did bounce back and play well. What do you guys think this will be for the goaltenders in a regular game setting?
I think it's going to be a little different than 3-on-3, and Art and I were talking about how yesterday's 3-on-3 tournament was similar to an all-star game where the goaltender's going to see a lot of shots. Petruzzelli, he saw a lot of rubber, and so did Philip Larson last night. I agree with you, Danielle. I think he did rebound and bounce back. Philip Larson looked solid in his second game as opposed to the first, but then again, he was tested quite a bit. But it'll be a little bit easier today, I think, on the goaltenders. These guys are tired. I'm telling you, this is day 5. They skated miles yesterday in 3-on-3. I think the pace won't be as fast as what we saw yesterday just because of the fatigue factor and a short turnaround. But I think the goaltenders, I don't think we'll see as much offense as we did perhaps yesterday in the 3-on-3.
And I do think the difference is that this is going to be 5-on-5. This is going to be an actual game situation. And so, I think that you'll see them play like within themselves, that this will be a system, and that, you know, playing 5-on-5 hockey certainly is a heck of a lot different than 3-on-3. And I think everybody will be out. Well, let me put it to you this way, and Ken, you know, we touched upon this yesterday. For quote-unquote summer hockey, we didn't see a lot of glaring mistakes out there.
No.
And everybody, as the game progressed, they really seemed to understand, and I think it goes back to the Red Wing philosophy of having a high hockey IQ, high hockey sense. I mean, yesterday when Ryan Kufner and Jack Adams talked after the 3-on-3 tournament was over, they were the two prospects that addressed the media, and I was downstairs. They kept talking about how smart everybody was, how they did have a high hockey IQ, great hockey sense was what they were saying, and you can tell that. So I agree with Ken. Look, this is a short turnaround for them. Every guy that played, they were all in the ice tub last night, and they didn't want to get out, you know, because they know that today, as big as last night was for them, and most of them performed admirably and extremely well, this is even a bigger stage. This is even going to be a much bigger venue for them because it is the last impression, and we all know how last impressions are. Ken's great at leaving a last impression.
Especially at 2 a.m.
At 2 a.m., he's what a joy to be around. But that's so this is, I'm just eager to see it. I've been impressed so far by this development camp just because of the quality of athlete and the quality of person that the Red Wings have here.
Let's talk specifically Mo Seider for a minute here. You mentioned hockey IQ and just how smart these guys were. That was a big thing about Seider that Yzerman stressed when he was drafted 6th overall. Ken, let's start with you on that end. What did you think of his play? He just seemed to kind of fit in and, he ran things a little bit.
He looked good offensively, and he made a few nice plays to get open, and his passing skills looked pretty good. I like the fact that he made a toe drag move, and he tried it in a 3-on-3 situation, and sometimes those are high-risk plays, but he actually made it work and enabled to set up his teammate to score a goal. I thought it was a great play. It's always great when you can get away with it. When you turn the puck over, it's not a great play. But that's the confidence that he has in his offensive abilities. He's not afraid to take chances and make those high-risk plays. And if you can do it and they're successful, then why not do it? I really want to see him play his overall defensive game today. That's what I want to see. I want to see him defend in his own zone. I heard nothing but good things about him as far as his play in Germany regarding his rear guard play, and I want to see him defensively. We know what he can do offensively. I want to see what he can do in his own end.
And talking about seeing him defensively, that's something you probably will see a lot more of with 5-on-5 hockey. It's not so on the attack all the time.
Right. I'll be interesting to see. I think he's going to be just fine. Obviously, if he plays in a men's league and he was Rookie of the Year and he's playing against guys relatively right around his same age, I want to see him as he was doing last night, Ken, and as we talked about, he was directing traffic out there. He was telling guys where to go. I want to see, and for lack of a better term, what kind of field general he is out on the ice. And he seems to be very unflappable. I think if that would be the one word that I would use to describe Mo Seider and how he is out on the ice. They always called Nick Lidstrom and I'm not saying he's Nick, please, but the perfect human because he never made a mistake. And I think that what we're going to see from Mo Seider, because, to err is human, to forgive divine, he's going to make some mistakes out there. I think it's the way he's going to rebound from those mistakes. And again, I don't think it's going to have much of an effect on his game. He's going to be able to forget that, put it in the past, and then continue to play his game. So he's been very, very impressive. And again, I really think Ryan Kufner needed a big game, and he had that big game yesterday. He does have a wonderful shot. He actually showed glimpses of why the Red Wings signed him to a free agent contract after his days at Princeton were concluded. So this should be a pretty good game.
Yeah, it will be really exciting. And I do want to touch on the rosters. We've got just about 5 minutes until puck drop. There were a couple changes. Team Lindsay, Seth Barton, and Patrick Holloway will now be moved to Team Howe. And then coming over to Team Lindsay from Howe, we've got Alec McRae and Malte Setkov.
Well, that just goes to show you that trades can be made even in the 3-on-3 tournament and in the red-white game. So, a little bit of a different strategy, I guess, and I think they want to make the teams a little more even based on the fact of what we saw in the 3-on-3 play yesterday. Not big changes. I don't think it'll make a big determination of the outcome of the game. I still think that Limoges is just incensed about he did not get credit for a goal that would have been a big goal in yesterday's game. But other than that, I don't think we'll see a big deal.
Well, Limoges filed an official protest, and it actually went nowhere, but he isn't giving up. He's going to exhume all channels. I think that this trade came down at 8:59:59, and the deadline was at 9 a.m. So they were working well overnight to make sure that this happened. But I don't know why they would do something like this, but maybe they just thought that there was maybe a bit of an imbalance, or they thought that Barton needs to see more power play time. He can get more power play time if he's on Team Howe as opposed to Team Lindsay.
Well, the other thing too, Art, and you brought up a good point. You mentioned that a lot of guys were in the ice tub last night, and there could be some bumps and bruises out there and some sore players. So maybe some of these guys will be on different teams just to help out and maybe get a little more ice time.
And we did see a shootout yesterday, right? So that was fun, and I think that was the first game of the 3-on-3 tournament. And we haven't really talked about Joe Veleno yet. He scored a very pretty shootout goal, and he played really well aside from that, too.
Yeah, he did, and I thought they shadowed him pretty good and covered him pretty good in the second game. But in the first game, he was a dominant force out onto the ice, scored a goal, maybe had two, I can't remember, but he made some good plays. And, he really was outstanding out there, and you could see how much he's improved from just a year ago.
Right, Joe Veleno obviously is really high, and he should be on the Red Wings radar. Even though his goal blew up the internet and everybody thinking, what a superstar, I'm pretty sure the one play that Joe Veleno's going to remember from last night is Jack Adams stealing the puck from him and him not being able to catch him, and Adams going in and scoring a goal. Adams certainly remembers it and feels really good about it, but I think that two things. I think that the speed of Adams surprised Veleno, who thought he was going to actually probably catch him, and Jack put on the he got his boots moving, as he called it. So I think Joe Veleno, based on that one play last night, I think he's going to come out here and try to put on a show. So again, I'm eager to see this because this is it. I keep saying it, but it's really, really true. I mean, they're all thinking deep down right now. They know where Steve Yzerman is watching this game from, and even though they're going to be on the ice trying to play Daniela and Ken, I think they're going to have like a little corner of their eye peeked up to see what's missing. Hopefully Mr. Yzerman isn't writing things down as I'm out here on the ice like frantically scribbling.
Definitely. So we've got just a minute or so until puck drop. Ultimately, what are you guys expecting tonight? Art, you kind of gave us your thoughts there that these guys, this is their last and final impression that they can make. Ken, what are you looking forward to seeing?
I guess I'm looking at individual efforts today, and as Art mentioned, you want to make a lasting impression, especially on the final day here. And I think we saw some good things from some players last night. Lucas Savages, to me, he had a great shot, scored a couple of goals. He impressed me. Robinson with his speed. And so these are little intangible things that management looks at and says, like case in point, Robinson, they'll say, you know what, if we ever need a speedy winger, someone that can race down the side, I mean, he might be a guy that we could be interested in and using down the road. And you think about it, it's a speed game right now in the National Hockey League. Athanasiou, he's a game breaker. Maybe a guy like Robinson with that speed can really help and be a game breaker too. So there's a lot of intangibles out there, whether it be offense, defense, or maybe even a goaltender who can stop and make big saves at key critical moments of a game. And these are all things that management looks at.
And speaking of someone kind of cutting the Robinson mold, Matthew Bizier scored a hat trick, and he might be somebody that he might have already made the prospects tournament roster. I mean, he was very, very impressive, showed a lot of good moves around the net, and is able to bury the puck.
Another player, Elmer Soderblom, who had a couple of goals in the championship game yesterday, along with Bizier. He was impressive too. It looks like he's got a pretty good shot. And Ryan Kufner, you talked about him, and you made a good point, Art. He had trouble scoring in his 10 games in the NHL, hit a goal post or a crossbar in that game against Pittsburgh. But he's one of those players, and I thought you brought up a good point, that once you get your first goal, the floodgates could open. He's got a really good shot, and it seems like he can really target the net and pick the corners.
He said something interesting, because I asked him after the game, I said, hey, you got a couple of goals just to get the schneid off your back. Do you feel a sense maybe of relief? And he said, I approach every game, whether I'm in Detroit, Grand Rapids, or Princeton, or wherever, basically the same. I know what my game is. I have confidence in my game. I know eventually I'm going to start scoring. But you've got to think that it felt pretty good for him to get on the score sheet last night.
Yes, definitely. And Taro Hirose, too. Those were two guys that did get some opportunity here in Detroit last season. Taro Hirose, we talked about him being a setup guy. He did make some pretty setups during that 3-on-3 tournament. Also had a great goal where he beat the goaltender top shelf. It was a great attack.
Yeah, it was an impossible angle. I can't say impossible because he did score, but it was an almost impossible angle where he came in and looked like he was going to pass the puck. Instead, he got along the goal line, and picked the corner of the goal, the top corner of the goal. So just a beautiful goal scorer. And we were talking, Art, yesterday that he's known more, Hirose, as a passer, a setup man, and not a shooter. But that was a goal scorer's goal right there.
Without question, I think that his nickname, at least here in development camp, is Rose. They kept saying, "Yeah, Rose is a high-end player. Rose can really think the game." But to a man, they talk about his hockey sense, his hockey IQ, his ice presence, and we've talked about it before. Even when he was with the Red Wings, they were saying, especially that his sense of what to do with the puck and his passing skills are really impressive, and so he'll certainly be someone to look at today.
And our very own Carly Johnston got to catch up with Taro at MSU because, he did have to go back and take finals and everything. So let's see how that went.
Fans, I'm Carly Johnston for Red Wings TV here at Munn Ice Arena in East Lansing, sitting down with my fellow Spartan, Taro Hirose.
How's it going?
Taro, thanks for having us here.
Yeah, no problem.
So March 9th was the last time you played a game here with the Spartan head on your sweater. Walk me through what happened after that.
It's sort of disappointing after your season ends, and the situation I was in, I knew that I might not be able to play with those guys again, so it was definitely a little emotional and exciting at the same time. So definitely lots of emotions after that one, but excited how it turned out.
So did the Red Wings call you? How did that process happen?
Yeah, so the next couple days after, I had some calls with a couple different teams, and Detroit sort of really stood out, and how they saw me as a player and sort of the opportunity they wanted to give me. So I think for me, it just seemed like the best fit.
You had 7 points in 10 games. I mean, that's really impressive for someone coming right out of college. So how was it playing in the NHL, making that transition from college hockey to professional hockey?
Yeah, I think it was a big jump. I mean, the guys are a lot bigger, they're a lot stronger, and everyone can skate. So, but at the same time, it gets a little easier out there because everyone's always in the right position. And in that sense, it was a little easier, but at the same time, just so much stuff going on and trying to transition well.
So you played a lot with fellow Canadian Andreas Athanasiou. What was that like? Did he have any tips for you? Did he help you out on the ice?
Yeah, I mean, we talked a lot, and he sort of just wanted to make sure that I was enjoying it and trying to make plays out there and not just throwing pucks away and trying to get him the puck. And I mean, he's an unbelievable player, unbelievable skater. So I think for me in that sense, it was really easy just trying to get him the puck and let him make his plays.
I heard Vanek came up with the name Taco. Where did that come from?
The first couple games, the guys were asking me what they call me, and they're trying to find a nickname for me. And usually it's Tars or Tarzy and T possibly, but I'm not sure if Vanek just couldn't pronounce my name or something. But Taco sort of stuck, and Lark sort of ran with it, and then Bert and those guys were going with it. So it's a funny nickname, and I'm sort of getting used to it still.
You were with the Red Wings for 10 games, playing professional hockey, and then you had to come back to school.
Yeah, so I got back on like a Monday, and then the next day I had a class at 10:20, and I had to make up an exam on a Thursday. So it's been pretty wild since I've been back, trying to catch up and get with everything that I missed. I've had a couple people yell at me go Wings and stuff like that, and whenever we've been out eating or something like that, a couple people have been staring and looking. It's definitely been a little bit different since I've been back.
You've been a great representative for Michigan State University in the NHL. I love it because I'm an alumni. So, I mean, keep up the good work. You've done amazing.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Fans, we'll be back in just a few moments and puck drop with the red and white game last day of development camp. We'll see you soon. 15 seconds. Welcome back, everybody. Teams are taking the ice for the red and white game. We've got Team Howe in red, Team Lindsay in white today. Just a few moments away, guys. Everybody seems to be getting really excited. We've got a pretty good crowd out here today.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, the weather's really, really good. A lot of things happening in Metro Detroit with the golf tournament, the Rocket Classic, and then you have the Tigers are playing today, honoring the '84 team, and this is really the first, I would say, officially nice weekend of summer. It's hot, it's the sun's ablazing, but what better way to spend the afternoon than watching some summer hockey?
And while we were off the air, Art, you were talking about some of the fans lining up to get in, and we do have a good crowd for this red-white game, and you were saying that some of the fans were having those waving those German flags outside.
Yeah, they're Germany very, very present. I know we have Greektown here, and I'm Greek, but I'm also German. So maybe Germantown is not that far off.
Right, we might have to with Moentown, Ewentown. That's two big names, right?
I can hear Mo Sider. Yes, my foundation, I will be making Germantown.
I think beer sales will go up.
Yeah, I think they would too. Those nice big steins and with Red Wing logos.
All right, guys, we're going to take a quick break here and welcome Monica Notaro to the ice. She's going to sing the anthem after the team introductions.
At forward, number 22, Ethan Phillips. At forward, number 78, Gregor McLeod. On defense, number 73, Malti Setkov. On defense, number 28, Gustav Lindstrom. And in goal, number 31, Jesper Eliasson. And now, starting for Team Howe and wearing red. At forward, number 14, Robert Mastro Simoni. At forward, number 90, Joe Valeno. At forward, number 57, Jonathan Berggren. On defense, number 84, Casper Gonzalo. On defense, number 53, Moritz Seider. And in goal, number 38, Philip Larson. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we ask that you please rise and kindly remove your hats. Active and retired military may keep their hats on while rendering the military salute. Please welcome to the ice, Monica Notaro for the singing of the Star-Spangled Banner.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
And so, again, we welcome you to Little Caesars Arena, the red-white game, final day of development camp. My name is Ken Kell alongside Daniela Bruce and Art Regner, and we're looking forward to an exciting afternoon of hockey. Good crowd on hand here to witness this development camp red-white game this afternoon.
You heard that crowd a little bit when Moritz Seider's name got announced as a starter, so it seems like they're getting behind it there, right?
You know, I think we had another trade. Did Bratson go to Team Lindsay? I think he's in net for that. And Philip Larson's in net for Team Howe.
Yeah, Larson is on Team Howe, and Eliason is in net.
Oh, it's
for Team
Eliason.
Lindsay.
Okay. For some reason, I'm always mixing those up. Thank you, Ken. At least someone's paying attention.
We're underway here at Little Caesars Arena. Glad you're around as Seider drops it back. He gets the return feed up the right wing boards, had it knocked away. Now he's in pursuit. Phillips making his way in left circle with a backhand try, and Larson came up with his first save of the game. Well, we wanted to see Seider defend, and that time Phillips got around him that time.
Right, he did. He moved right by him.
No score opening period. This will be 3 20-minute sessions. Stop time as the play is still inside the Team Howe zone. Seider has it. Flips it to Mastra Simone. Good feed over the line. Making his way in, and Berggren and coming back. Nice play to take him off the puck. Now he gets it again. Berggren trying to lay it out in front of the goal. It was tapped away. Comes back to the line of Johansson. Shovels it around the boards into the corner as it's trying to dig it loose. Berggren in behind the net. Phillips comes away with it. And Phillips was impressive yesterday in that 3-on-3 game.
Yeah, he certainly was. You know, he does. He's one of those guys, high energy guy, always moving up and down, can play a 200-foot game, and has a good nose for the net.
Sedkov got it around the boards. Now it's lifted out to center ice, and Groove has it. He has to make his way deep into his own zone. He's a physical player. Got hit from Kufner as it's laid out to center ice in between both players' benches. Now up across the line, here's Pearson with a feed out in front of the goal. Lalonde trying to make his way in, but he was covered, never got the shot away. That's good defensive work right there.
Right, good defensive work. You know, the pace pretty good so far, Ken. I mean, they're really going after one another.
Given Maki laid it out to center ice. Tufto makes his way in. Got it to the right side to Groove. Makes his way into the corner. He's eased in along the boards on a little bit of a check there. Helmet is on the ice. Kevin Maki going after the puck, but it goes into the corner, and O'Reilly to dump that backhand around the boards. Held in. Now Groove sends it back to the left side of the ice. Quick shot. Save made by Larson. Rebound into the corner. Man without a helmet out there is Patrick Hallway, and he was involved in that pregame trade. He was originally on Team Lindsay, and now he's on Team Howe. Now a feed pass out in front of the goal, and Kevin Maki unable to handle that puck. It's worked into the corner. Now up the boards, late change made by Team Lindsay. A shot from the right side stopped out in front, and it comes out to center ice.
Well, Gouve and Holloway were the ones that got into a little bit of a fight, and Holloway lost his helmet. I mean, they were teammates last night, but Gouve doing what he likes to do. He likes to agitate. He was compared to Brian Marchman. He's been doing a pretty good job of it early in this game.
Couple minutes gone by here in the opening period. No score. Team Howe, Team Lindsay. Glad to have you along on this Saturday afternoon. Here's a shot from the line. Save made by Eliason. Keeps the play alive. And that's what we've seen from the goaltenders in the 3-on-3 game, Art and Daniela. They like to move the puck and not freeze it as much as they can.
No, so much so that they were giving it to the opposition at times yesterday.
A lot of these guys have flights. They want to make this a quick game.
Yeah, really, they must.
It's the final day of development camp.
Right.
No score first period. Puck around the near boards, and now it's Team Lindsay Phillips jamming it ahead out to center ice. Puck was knocked down, and now it's brought back in and chipped out by Team Lindsay and back after it in his own zone. That is the forward up the right side, knocking it down. It's tapped along the boards and back into the corner by Bizier, and Bizier had the 3-goal hat trick in the championship game for his team yesterday.
We are a lot different than 3-on-3 hockey, what we're seeing out here today. They're playing it really close to one another, tight, each team tenacious on the forecheck at this point.
Here's a feed in front, wide open, a shot, and they score. And Team Lindsay shaking their head. Howe leads 1-0, and that goal was popped home by Morgan.
Cody Morgan gets the goal. He's a free agent invitee, so that's really good for him. You know, we talked a lot about those guys out here just trying to prove that they should be given a chance.
Right, certainly. You know, he's definitely playing for an invite to the Prospects tournament at this point, and hoping to continue his career with the Detroit organization.
So it's 1-0 Team Howe. Cody Morgan with the goal at the 3:58 mark of this opening period. He was wide open right out in front, about 5 or 6 feet in front of the goaltender Eliasson when he fired it in. Johansson for Team Howe to go after the puck in the corner. 1-0 lead for Team Howe as they battle forward and behind the goal. Valeno, we'll keep an eye on him. Work that puck loose into the corner. Now he gets the return feed. Finds Johansson along the left wing, and he'll shovel it out to center ice. Valeno speeding in, fends off a check, tried to jam it home on a weak backhand, but covering the net was Jesper Eliasson. Back towards the left circle. Here's another shot, that one wide of the goal.
Valeno showing some good speed there, Ken, getting around his man, just ran out of real estate.
Seems like a pretty strong player. He was fending off the defender with his left arm and got a weak backhand away, but made a good effort on the play, Joe Valeno.
Now, he was standing next to Sider during the national anthem, and I swear he looked bigger than him. He looked taller.
Duquette is on the ice for Team Lindsay, 1-0 Team Howe. Morgan, the goal scorer from center ice. It's McCray picking it up, throwing it into the corner. Lalonde is body checked in behind the goal, and now it's lifted all the way down the ice, and Eliasson to keep the play alive. Puck steered around the near side, boards, and Groove has it. Pearson watches him closely, scoots in behind his own net, taps it back now to McCray. McCray's pass knocked away by Kufner, who goes down off to the side of that Lindsay goal, and now the player Phillips looking for a pass out at center ice, has to pull up, it's sent across, and Kevin Mackey lays it to the trailer off the bench on a change. Here's Setkoff out at center ice, making his way in, that hair flowing from the helmet, big, tall player, fired the puck wide of the goal on a wrist shot.
Really, as far as hair goes, that's the one thing everyone notices about Setkoff.
Mo Sider's got that flowing locks going too.
Yeah, sometimes they look similar sometimes out there on the ice.
Both big, tall players.
Right. Need to put on a little bit of weight, maybe add a little strength.
Kufner had some big goals in the game. He's out there wearing number 56.
Well, Kufner, you can tell last night's games did wonders for him because he's been out all over the ice, throwing the body too. Didn't see much of that when he was up here with the Wings last year.
Speaking of number changes, Taro Hirose changed his number. He had 53 last year. That's Mo Sider's number now for the Red Wings, and he is now 67.
Yes, I guess there's a conspiracy theory going around that he doesn't like the Maple Leafs and he's wearing 67 to rub it in. Their last year winning the Cup, so...
Only you would come up with that stat.
No, seriously. Somebody told me that last night at dinner, and I couldn't believe it, but I guess it's out there.
1-0 lead for Team Howe as Team Lindsay brings it ahead. Team Lindsay in white, Team Howe in red. Play is offside. Actually knocked down with a high stick up across that Team Howe blue line.
Well, so far, really good pace to this hockey game. Real tight checking. Teams are on the forecheck. A lot of giveaways, a lot of takeaways, and energy level high considering that these guys played last night in a very competitive 3-on-3 tournament.
Here's Albert Johansson for Team Howe. Sends that puck across. Moore lifts it up the right side to the Team Lindsay blue line. It's batted back out to center ice by Bizier, and now it's worked back in by Team Howe. Berglund in behind the Team Lindsay goal. Brings it ahead. Now he returns it around to Duquette. Out to center ice. Casey strides over the blue line, trying to make his way in, but he was sandwiched there.
By 3 guys.
Team Red player, that was Yetman, was tripped up, but the play continues. Out at center ice. Morgan, the goal scorer, 1-0. Favor of Team Howe. He'll shoot it into the corner. 12 minutes to play in the opening period. And they'll play 3 periods here this afternoon. Good crowd on hand. Yetman drops it back inside his own zone as both teams will change quickly on the go. Feed pass out to center ice. Off the bench on a change, Berggren. He showed flashes of brilliance yesterday in the 3-on-3. Got it to Valeno. Quickly to the right point. Cancello makes his way over to the right side boards. Now tried to steer it out in front of the goal. It ends up along the near side, and Cancello played it around the boards, but it's intercepted by Alec McCray. Tapping it ahead, and Phillips gets the feed at center. Carries over the blue line, trying to go through the defenders. He does, but the puck rolled off his stick to Philip Larson, who covers up in the goal crease.
Philip Larson there actually looking a lot more sharp in this game. As we mentioned that he had that rough 3v3 game last night, and then he bounced back, and you can see his numbers there in Denver. So it's exciting to see him playing well. I know Ken really liked the way he played.
Well, certainly. I think he wants to rebound. I mean, nobody likes to give up any goaltender, but to give up 8, I know that he was a little bit steamed after the game last night.
What's the old saying? It's not how you start, it's how you finish, right?
Right, exactly. And he wants to finish very, very well today.
1-0, Team Howe with the lead, 11 minutes to go here in the opening period. Setkoff from center ice, so make that Mo Sider shoots it in.
You know, I think Kufner for Team Howe has looked pretty good so far with a lot of energy, and Ethan Phillips for Team Lindsay has really shown a lot here early on.
Valeno picking it up in behind his own goal. We'll keep an eye on him as he gets the return feed. Now it's Steam out at center ice, 3-on-2. Pass to Kufner. Kufner to the trailer. Kufner gets it again in the corner. It's played by Berggren along the boards and broken up. Back towards the blue line. Moore has it. Feed pass. Right side. Into the corner. Sent out in front of the goal. Knocked away by the defense of Team Lindsay. Still battle for it in behind the net. Feed pass in front. A shot by Kufner. And he scores. Kufner continues to have the hot hand. It's 2-0.
Well, there he is. We talked about him a lot yesterday. Leading goal scorer of all time at Princeton, and he's continuing at Art. Maybe that did boost his confidence last night.
Well, he's doing what he needs to do. He should be dominant in this camp and in these games. And Ryan Kufner is showing, again, a really good, hard, accurate shot. I mean, he was wide open, and he did what he had to do. So I would assume that after this camp is over today, that Ryan Kufner is going to feel pretty good heading into the Prospects tournament in September.
Both goals have come almost from identical places on the ice, about 5 feet right out in front. 9:39, the time of the goal, 2-0 Team Howe here in the opening period. Berglund shoots it in from center ice. Playing behind the goal, Moore tapping it up the right side boards. Out to center ice, up across the line, Barton makes his way in, right circle, has an opening, got the shot away, and Eliasson with a glove save. He keeps that puck moving, sends it in behind his own goal. Doesn't like to freeze that puck.
Nice individual effort there by the former Trail Smoke Eater, Barton.
Gotta love that logo.
Eater.
Yeah, I do love that. I really do.
I think you've mentioned it at least once every day this week.
The Smoke Eater, they're a legendary club.
Soderblom in the corner. He worked it back to the line. He had 2 goals yesterday in the championship game. Out to Grieve, out center ice. Grieve got it up across the line. Casey is tied up. Now Team Howe comes back. Oop, look out. Collision out at center ice. That was Lucas Savages who went down up across the line. Moving into the corner, that is Loggins. Loggins trying to jam the puck around the boards. Got it to the line. McCray finds his man left side. Broken up, though. Team Howe comes back up along the right wing. They have a 2-0 lead with 8:39 to play in the opening period. Yetman worked it in behind the goal. Now a race for the puck in the corners. Howe changes on the go.
Seen a lot more physicality out there today than we did last night.
Well, there's a lot less ice than it would be 3-on-3, and we said guys are trying to make an impression, and one of the impression is that you like to play the rough and tumble style, and we are seeing that.
The other thing, you watch the European players, they're used to playing on that larger ice surface, and they have to readjust to the North American style ice.
Right. I mean, this game's a lot quicker. Everything comes at you a lot faster, and that's the biggest adjustment that they have to make.
I think if you're a defenseman, too, one of the adjustments you make on a smaller ice surface is your angles.
Right. Very, very true. You know, goaltenders have to do that too, Ken. I mean, that is the thing. You know, you in a bigger ice surface, be a lot different than, and you would think it's not, is it that much? But really, it is that much of a difference.
Valeno on the ice for Team Howe. They've got a 2-0 lead. Team Howe over Team Lindsay with 7:34 to play here in the opening period. Des2 sends it across into the corner. Feed pass Robinson at center. We talked about him and his speed last night. Fortunately, we won't watch him now as he makes his way over to the bench on a change. Speed kills in the NHL, and he certainly has a lot of speed, Robinson. Here's Pearson up across the line. Trying to thread the needle, but it was stopped by Hiroshi out to Tufto at center ice. Tufto makes his way over the Team Howe blue line along the near boards. Pearson knocked it away. It's batted down with a glove. Out to center ice it comes. Team Howe on the attack. Now it's jammed out to center ice by Gustav Lidstrom out to the Team Howe blue line. Here's Hiroshi up across the line, dancing on those skates, makes a power move out in front of the goal, and he was checked off the puck at the last second as he was cruising in on Larson. Kufner, he has a goal in the game, flips it up across the line, Pearson to the trailer, Kotkinsalo makes his way in with a shot, and Eliasson made the save.
Casper probably wanted a little more on that shot.
That was a good setup, though. Another shot by Kotkinsalo from the blue line. Eliasson steered it into the corner. 2-0 lead for Team Howe, 6:20 to play in the opening period. Kotkinsalo in the corner. Backhands it in front. Now turning with it. Left circle. A feed pass into the slot broken up. Lalonde has it. Top of the right face-off circle. Now it's batted away from Kotkinsalo and it comes out to center ice. Kotkinsalo dumps the puck into the corner and Duquette looks over his right shoulder to play it up the left side boards for Gruve. Rink-wide feed up the right side. Moving after it, that is the small-size forward Otto Kivenmaki.
Otto pretty impressive last night, too. Really, a lot of guys were, and
he's a
highly skilled player, Otto.
Interesting story because he was only about 135 pounds soaking wet last year, but he actually put on some weight going into this year's development camp.
Now, there's still some debate about it. Was he even in 135?
Oh, here's a wide open play and a goal scored right there by Lucas Savages. He continues to have the hot hand, and it's 3-0 Team Howe.
Ken, you talked a lot about Lucas Savages
nice play there by
last night, so it's good to see him continuing that as well. Another goal for him.
Great play by Ryan O'Reilly. Nice pass. I mean, wide open, and you've got to feel a little bit for Elias, and not much that he could do on that, but Lucas Savage, that's been your guy the whole tournament.
Well, he certainly was impressive, as Daniela mentioned, and we saw a shot yesterday, scored a couple of goals, and even before he scored those goals yesterday in the 3-on-3, his chances and his shots were unbelievable. Goaltenders making saves on him, but that's a nice goal right there. He's from Squamish, BC, 5'10", 185 pounds, and it's 3-0 Team Howe after his goal.
Right, and he comes from a great program at the University of Denver, former teammate, obviously, of Philip Larson. So he's a pretty high-end player, too. And I know we keep saying this, but you can't stress it enough. The level of play here has been pretty, considering that many of these players have had months and haven't played very well, they haven't played very much hockey lately, they've really come right in and have put on a pretty good show and have been really competitive. I really am surprised. I don't know what it's going to be like in the third period, but the pace of this game has been pretty good.
Ryan Kufner's got a goal in this game. Talk a little bit more about him. As we've been mentioning, he spent some time up here in Detroit. Didn't fare so well. He played all right, and as you said, Ken, he had a golden opportunity to score a goal that he clanked off the post, or off the crossbar, was it?
Yep, in Pittsburgh.
Yes, and you can see his numbers from Princeton. He's the all-time leading goal scorer, so it's good to see him kind of finding his way, because he's not the all-time leading goal scorer for nothing.
75 goals there, and that's a lot of numbers there for any team if you're playing college hockey.
Right, 152 points in 132 games. Certainly it was a different situation than what Hiroshi was in. He did not get the ice time that Taro Hiroshi played. He didn't get any special team time. So he had to try to carve out his niche, and sometimes it's tough when you're a third and fourth liner, depending on the way goals called. You might get limited ice time, and he really did have limited ice time, but he's made the most of everything in the 3-on-3 tournament and in today's red and white game.
Morgan, Kufner, and Lucas Savages, the goal scorers in the hockey game. It's 3-0 Team Howe. 5 minutes to play now in the opening period. Here's a feed pass. Lucas Savages again with a shot. This time it's blocked. And the man who blocked it races out to center ice. Quick feed pass. That's Bizier. And Bizier, we mentioned, had 3 goals yesterday. And had a nice block shot and then came down the ice. He's got it again. Cuts out in front of the goal. And then it was poked away. And Team Howe comes back. They've got the 3-0 lead. 3-on-2 over the Team Lindsay blue line. Setkoff in pursuit of O'Reilly. O'Reilly brings it back to the blue line. Hands it off. Johansson back to O'Reilly. Bothered from behind by Setkoff. Mo Sider swings it across. Right circle. Here's a shot. Eliasson the save and covers up, giving up no rebound with a little bit of traffic out in front of him.
Ken, so far we've talked a little bit about him hailing from the state of Texas, but Ryan O'Reilly's looked pretty good here too. He's getting a very, very engaged player, has been into play, a nice setup there on the last goal for Team Howe. So a lot of guys bringing it today.
Of course, we all know Ryan O'Reilly, who plays in the National Hockey League.
If you could be half the player Ryan O'Reilly is, the Red Wings have got themselves a heck of a player.
Absolutely. Here's a breakaway now after a turnover. Making his way in, that is Morgan with a chance, and he could not connect for his second goal.
Like the idea there. I like the backhand, but just fired it wide.
Team Lindsay trying to get on the board here. Dastu sends that puck across, rink-wide feed. Hiroshi goes after it, but the pass was too far in front of him. 3:35 to go, first period. Matinee hockey here from Little Caesars Arena. The red-white game, 3-0 Team Howe. Morgan, Kufner, and Lucas Savages, the goal scorers. Now here's Hiroshi feeding it across a drive, and they score.
Talk about Taro Hiroshi being a setup guy. That was quite the setup there.
Tufto with the goal.
Yes, and Hiroshi with the setup. I don't know if you guys could hear that one over the goal horn, but we've been talking about him as a setup guy, and there he was right there.
Well, it was great. I mean, he had Larson. Larson, I think, at first thought that Hiroshi was going to shoot. Finds the man. Tufko, who's played pretty well, too. He's looked pretty impressive as well. And just a really nice setup by Taro Hiroshi.
Puck shot over the glass and into the crowd. Again, we talked about the puck always following Taro Hiroshi, and every time he's on the ice, that the puck's going to eventually come to him because it just seems like he's one of those guys.
Well, you've said it, Ken, and you're right, so right. I mean, that's but that comes down to having good hockey sense and anticipation.
And knowing where to be on the ice at all times.
Exactly.
So Lindsay gets on the board, and it is 3-1 favor of Team Howe. 16:36 was the time of the goal by Tufto.
Well, Team Lindsay is comprised of Team Del Vecchio last night, who won the 3-on-3 tournament, and these guys had a tendency to come back last night's game, so this game's obviously far from over.
Here's a backhand try from right out in front of the goal. Casey on the doorstep. The original opportunity was taken by Gregor McLeod, and now the play whistled down in that Team Howe zone. 2:40 to play, first period. 3-1 Team Howe with the lead.
You know what I did notice? We saw a lot of Valeno and McLeod last night, but they're on opposite teams today, so we won't really get to see their connection that they had from playing together in Drummondville.
I definitely think they probably wanted to split them up a little bit and take that comfort level away.
Lalonde down the right side board, shovels it in. Setkoff will handle it, covered up his man, and Bizier comes away with a puck, and he'll work it out to center ice. Play is at the blue line. Bizier intercepting it again. Now Mo Sider scoops it up for Team Howe. Backpedals into his own zone. Sweeps that puck across to Kotkinsalo, who lifts it off the board. Setkov drilled it out to center. Kotkinsalo will pick it up again, turn away from Bizier up across the line. Shovels it down low to Kufner. In front, a quick shot taken right there by Pearson, and Eliasson deep in the crease came up with that save.
Casper Kotkinsalo has actually is sturdy out there. He's put on some weight, added some muscle, but he's played a solid game, Ken. He has been really aggressive, and I think he's been watching the NHL a little bit about those puck-moving defensemen because he's certainly doing that at every opportunity he has.
You got to love those puck-moving defensemen, and that's something I think that the Red Wings need. They need their defensemen to move the puck a little better out of their own zone, make that first good pass. And a lot of these guys, from what I've read, are able to do that. And when you're a defenseman, you can hit those forwards on the first good pass out of your own zone. It just makes it a lot easier in your own end defending.
Well, I think that, we saw it first here in Detroit with the Russian Five, but it's a five-man unit game now. Everybody has to be that way, especially with defensemen joining the rush and being part of the offensive game as well as getting back to defend.
Time winding down, first period, 1:25 to go. It's 3-1 Team Howe. Morgan, Kufner, and Lucas Savages with the Howe goals, and Tufto for Team Lindsay. Shot taken, gloved off by Elias, and the goaltender for Team Lindsay. Oh, we're all excited for the opening home game of the season. The Dallas Stars are coming to Little Caesars Arena after the Red Wings open up the season in Nashville against the Predators.
That game will be October 6th here at Little Caesars Arena. The early October games are always so fun, so looking forward to the whole season.
And the Red Wings opened the night before on the road in Nashville, but Ken, as you know, they've had success down in Nashville lately, the Red Wings.
I think they've won 5 of their last 6 or 7 games in Nashville, but Nashville's without PK Subban now. He's now a New Jersey Devil.
Right, yeah. Nashville going through a bit of a transition themselves.
Under a minute to go, first period, 3-1 Team Howe. With the lead, the puck is in the Team Howe zone, circling with it. Here's a shot from the line taken by the defenseman Gustav Berglund, stopped in front. Turning with it, Busick. Pass off the stick of Moore, deflects into the zone. Berglund will have it. Stride out to center ice, defenseman for Team Lindsay. Now it's shoveled and slapped back up across the line by Taro Hirose. Consalo moved it up the right wing. Mastro Simone dropped it back. Quick backhand try. Stopped out in front of the goal. Into the corner. Loggins played it out to the blue line. It's intercepted. Berggren tried to drop it back. It came out to center with 5 seconds to go in the period. Mo Sider rifles it off the glass into the corner, and time will run down before another shot is taken. And Team Howe with a 3-1 lead after 20 minutes of play.
I'd like to see what Consalo's ice time was. It had to be about 10 minutes, it looked like, in that first period. You know, he and Mo Sider were teamed together, so obviously it shows you what the Red Wings think of Consalo's game to pair him with Sider, get those two together as the number one unit. I was pretty impressed again. 3-1 in favor of Team Howe over Team Lindsay. But again, considering that they had the 3-on-3 tournament last night, short turnaround, all the guys were in the ice tubs for hours yesterday. I liked the pace. I thought that it was pretty competitive.
Guys, we're going to take a short break here. When we come back, we'll have highlights from that first period, so stay tuned. Welcome back, guys. We had quite an exciting first period of hockey here at the Red and White Scrimmage and Detroit Red Wings development camp here at Little Caesars Arena. It was very, very much dominated by Team Howe in that first period. The first goal came from Cody Morgan. Guys, talk about that goal and what you think that play was like.
Well, it came right out in front of the goal, and I think the first two goals that were given up by Team Lindsay came around the same area on the ice. It was a nice feed from the side of the net, behind the net, right out in front for Morgan, who found the opening and drilled it home.
And Art, I'm going to have you talk about the next goal. We saw one from Ryan Kufner, and we talked a lot about him in the 3-on-3 tournament. As Ken had mentioned during the broadcast, it was a fairly similar goal to the first one, kind of the same spot.
Right, almost the same spot. You know, he has a great shot, as you can see that, you know, short side there, up high, and, you know, you got the shot off quickly, and it was accurate. And again, you know, Kufner was a guy that, you know, led Princeton in all-time leading scorer for Princeton, and you know, had a little bit of struggle when he was up here with the Red Wings last season, but you know, he knew exactly what to do.
And you guys just saw the goal from Lukasevich. That was the third goal for Team Howe, and another guy that we talked a lot about last night, so it wasn't surprising to see him get on the board.
No, not at all. And now we see the first Team Lindsay goal that was scored there by Tufto, set up by Taro Hirose. And it was a nice feed by Hirose. He kind of faked the goaltender. It looked like he was going to shoot the puck. Instead, he passed it sideways over, and a good play by Tufto to bury the puck behind the goaltender, Larson.
Right, you could tell Larson was kind of caught like flat skated, so to speak, because he wasn't sure what Hirose was going to do with the puck. He did think he was going to shoot, and at the last second he passes it over, and Tufter puts it in.
One of the things that we talked about during the week in our live streaming when we were watching the script or the actual practices and teams were warming up is time and space. And if you get time and space in the National Hockey League, you're going to bury the puck, and you give a pro opportunity to score, and if he has time to pick a corner and shoot, he's going to be dynamic. We saw that from Ryan Kufner. Kufner got the feed from right out in front. He looked at the corner of the net, and he had time to count it down and shoot into the upper corner. And again, that's the difference of a National Hockey League player is you give him time and space, he's going to bury the puck.
Well, on Lukasevich's goal, too, I think when you're talking about time and space, Ryan O'Reilly made a great play. He didn't have much time. He got the puck off his stick, good, accurate pass to Lukasevich, who buried it. Also, and I think that's the thing that has been most impressive, Ken, is during this whole camp is you know, Monday was a little slow. Guys were getting used to it, getting their legs together. But as it's picked up, you can tell that the Red Wings have stressed high hockey sense, high hockey IQ, and most of these players have it. They are, you know, they know exactly what to do with the puck, and I really like the energy level in this first period, considering they had the 3-on-3 tournament last night. And it was a quick turnaround.
So that was Mo Sider's debut in 5-on-5 hockey for us, at least. We haven't seen him play in person yet, and it was really exciting to see him get out there. What did you guys think of that first period for his first few shifts?
Well, yesterday we saw his offensive capabilities, and we were talking about that in our pregame show, and he was pretty dynamic, made some really high-skilled plays in the offensive zone. One of the things I wanted to see is how well he defended. And it was interesting because early in the game, Phillips got the puck behind him, and he couldn't catch up. And it's just a learning process. And sometimes when you haven't played with teammates, you know, you're in a bad position. But I really like his play so far from what I've seen, and I think that down the road, he's going to be a really solid player for the Red Wings in the National Hockey League.
I like that he's paired with Casper Kotkonsalo. They're the number one pair for Team Howe. What I like about Mo Sider is even though Phillips did get behind him on a play and did get a good scoring opportunity, is that he seems, and the word I keep using is unflappable. I mean, he looks like a fella that's going to understand that it might take some time and that he'll make some mistakes, but I think he's going to be able to come through that and work through it and learn from his mistakes and not dwell on anything.
The other thing that you like to see in young defenders is no panic mode. And that's hard for a young player because a lot of times, especially when they get an opportunity to play in a preseason game in the National Hockey League, sometimes when you make a mistake, you panic. And it's really hard for an 18-year-old to just relax a little bit and don't let it bother you. And I think that's what you see from Mo Sider. He's not in a panic mode. He'll, if a player gets behind him, he'll have an opportunity to catch him or make the right play and pick up another player that's coming back.
Well, he'll learn from that. Now when Ethan Phillips is breaking in on him, he's going to defend that a little bit differently because he knows that he has some moves and he has some speed, and I think that's what, quite frankly, the Red Wings liked about him, and what they saw in him is his ability to think the game and understand the situations that he's in, the environment that he's in, and he adapts to it.
And from what we've heard and from what most scouting reports say, he's really, really good on the power play. And obviously we haven't had the chance to see him yet. We actually haven't seen any penalties yet in this game. So we didn't really see any in 3v3 last night either.
I think the referees' whistles got lost today. I don't think they have any.
They're not working. They're trying.
Yeah, they're trying, and there's nothing. The little ball or whatever that makes the sound is.
Well, I know
there.
some of these players have early flights this afternoon before 6 o'clock, so I think they want to get dressed, get out to the
Definitely
airport.
keep the game a little quicker. But it's been fun so far. We've got a period in the books, guys. We'll be back in just a few minutes for the second period. Welcome back, everybody. Period 2 is just under 2 minutes away. Guys, what are you looking for in this period? What do you want to see, if anything, a little bit different?
Well, we got a new goaltender for Team Lindsay. It's Keith Petruzzelli, and we saw him yesterday, so that's something to look forward to and see how he can play between the pipes.
Right, certainly. I'm looking to see if they can continue this breakneck pace that they've been playing with. The forecheck was tenacious by both teams. I expect as this game wears on and these guys, not only is it last night's 3-on-3 tournament, but I think the intensive training since Tuesday, if it starts to catch up with them, I think we're going to see a few more scoring chances and the goalies will be tested.
And we have a new goaltender for Team Howe. It's the man from Michigan State, Drew DeRitter, and we talked about him early in the week, day one of our streaming cast here at Little Caesars Arena. So 2 new goaltenders. Team Howe, Drew DeRitter, and Keith Petruzzelli for Team Lindsay.
A forward that we haven't talked too much about in that first period, Robert Master-Simone. He was our second-round pick last weekend in Vancouver. That's a guy that I would like to see get into the mix a little bit and see what he's all about.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised we haven't called him too much because he was all over the ice yesterday. And another thing we're looking at, Master-Simone, I think this is a guy the Red Wings really like. Had an outstanding interview with the Red Wings. Chris Draper described it to me as on the Red and White Authority podcast as they just started talking, and then he's really engaging. Like I said, he could be Central Casting out of The Sopranos or something. He's from New York, Long Island area, and his interview was just hockey players talking hockey, and that was really, really impressive. Really outgoing. Hopefully he can make a little bit of an impression here because he certainly did during this development camp and certainly last night. One forward we haven't seen who was a big part of Team Del Vecchio's victory. I have not seen Jack Adams today.
No, I haven't seen him at all either.
I know he was going to hit the cold tub. Maybe he fell asleep in there and they forgot to wake him, but hopefully he's all right.
All right, second period action underway as Team Howe will be attacking left to right. They've got a 3-1 lead as we begin the second period of play. Joe Valeno's out on the ice for Team Howe. Here's Berggren out at center ice. Feed pass ahead. Valeno down the right wing boards into the corner. Swept it down low. Hiroshi trying to dig the puck free for Team Lindsay. They battle for it. Valeno got it around the boards. Berggren to chase it down. It's tapped up the left wing, held in at the blue line.
Well, this is a really high-end talent out here for Team Howe right now. When you look at this forward core.
Look out, puck stolen, a cut around, moved by Berglund, who tried to go from his backhand to his forehand. That was a good play. The goaltender making the save is Petruzzelli, but that was a good play because the first original shot, he knew he couldn't get it in, so instead he turned around and went with the forehand opportunity or a forehand pass.
Well, right. Certainly... and let's first talk about Keith Petruzzelli. Petruzzelli expects to be the number 1 goaltender at Quinnipiac, and he seemed to be fighting the puck last night, so that was a nice start for him considering how the game. He played pretty well last night, but as we said, he just seemed to be fighting it. But he looks like he knows how important this showing is for him.
And as we know, the goalies are always at a bit of a disadvantage when it's 3-on-3, so nice to see him in a 5-on-5 setting.
Yes.
Petruzzelli, big, tall goaltender. He's lean, though. He's about 6'6", but he's very lean. He's got the chance to build into that body.
Yes, he can eat about every 5 minutes and not put on pounds, he told me.
I'm jealous.
I hate talking about it, actually.
He and Danny DeKaiser have the same. Whatever's going on with Danny is going on with Keith as well.
3-1, that's our score. Team Howe with the lead. All the goals coming in the opening period. 18:20 to play in the second. Trying to break in is the forward Bizier. Puck loose. Phillips into the corner. Referee dodging out of the play, and now Phillips just hammered in along the end boards. And Phillips giving his man a rough ride right out in front. Now back out to center. Team Howe. Busick over the line. Left circle. Trying to feed it out in front. It was stopped. Das 2 hammered the puck up the boards, got it out to center ice. Quick feed over along the right side. Hallway got the feed in front. Here's a dipping shot taken right there by Johansson on target. Petruzzelli the save.
Right, that was a nice quick shot.
McLeod the other way with Phillips, 3-on-1. Toe drags the puck, got the shot away. DeRitter came up with a save.
Both goalies looking good early on.
Well, DeRitter saw him early on in the week and looked pretty solid. He likes watching that puck go into his pads or into his glove all the way, and he made a nice save right there.
DeRitter, he's a bit of a local guy. He played at Michigan State, and he's from Fenton, Michigan.
Fenton, Michigan, and he enjoys holidays in that red and green. He's kind of a Christmas goalie out there, it looks like.
He does kind of look Christmassy.
He does. Very festive young man.
Kind of like those old-time New Jersey Devils jerseys,
Yeah,
right?
definitely.
With the green and red.
That's exactly right. That's what I was thinking.
Well, the Devils will be interesting this year with PK Subban and, of course, Jack Hughes.
Yeah, New Jersey did a lot of good things. They're going to be pretty impressive, I think.
3-1, Team Howe with the lead. Up across the line, right side is Hiroshi. Pulls up into the corner, tried to thread it to Albin Gruve, but it was knocked away by the Team Howe defense. Lalonde up the right wing, got it out to center, and Setkoff will pick it up. He's logged a lot of ice time in the game. Setkoff, big, tall defenseman.
Well, he was considered a project, but he's come a long way. He's put on weight, and again, he's a pretty good shutdown defenseman. He's able to use his reach and his size, and if he can add an offensive game to him, I think the Red Wings would be encouraged, very encouraged by that.
Berggren to Veleno, right side, trying to slip that one through the pads of Petrozelli, who came up with a save.
That was a little sneaky move by Veleno there.
Lucas Savages fell down awkwardly and along the near boards. He's okay. He's got a goal in the hockey game. Lucas Savages, left circle feed. Here is a chance out in front. Oh, a good move, and that puck just wide of the goal by Lucas Savages. Again, he has that opportunity to get some scoring chances. Caught Kinsella with a shot right circle, right on goal, and that was saved by Petrozelli. Berggren into the slot. Lucas Savages tried to get it out to Veleno, and it was intercepted. Casey drops it back, and now settling it down, Setkoff for Team Lindsay.
Team Howe starting to dominate this hockey game a little bit. A lot of attacking time, and Petrozelli has had to really be sharp, and he has been.
We talked about him a lot, Lucas Savages. We saw that he's got a good wrist shot that time. He tried to make a power move right out in front of the goal and put it in.
Right, his stick was lifted just at the last second, though. Good play there by Team Lindsay.
That's two, scoops it out to center ice. Up across the line, Otto Kivenmäki. Puck broken up by Team Howe. And that was O'Reilly doing the job. Dastu lifts it up the left wing boards. Away from McLeod. Down the ice it goes. Johansson picks it up. Now he turned it over to McLeod, and he ran into a brick wall right there. That was the defender, Berggren.
Berggren, a nice hit there. Is it me, or does it seem the pace is slowing down just a little bit?
Yeah, just a little bit, Art. But again, these guys have skated miles over the course of the week, especially last night in that 3-on-3. Kivenmäki trying to cut through the defense, dropping it back. It's broken up. And Team Howe O'Reilly out to center on a 2-on-2. Over the blue line, drops it back. Pearson with a shot. No one actually hit his own man, and Lalonde scoops it up for Lidstrom. It's shoveled out to center ice. Turning with it, that is Sider. Good move.
Yeah, very
Pass
good
across, left circle, back to Sider. Now to the right circle. Morgan with a pass out in front, and it ends up into the corner.
Well, like the thinking, like the tic-tac-toe play there, they just couldn't convert.
Well, you can see the tools of Mo Sider right there. Made a good play and created a scoring chance.
Talk about how calm he is and patient with the puck. That was a great example of that.
Absolutely. Soderblom back to the blue line. Here's a quick shot from the line. Blocked by Duquette right out in front of his goaltender, Petrozelli. Time ticking away, second period, 13:20 to go, and it's a 3-1 Team Howe lead. And all goals have come in the first period. Morgan, Kufner, and Lucas Savages for Team Howe, and Tufto set up by Hiroshi for Team Lidstrom. Right circle feed, Morgan with a feed in front, and the goaltender Petrozelli hanging on with that pad up against the far goal post, comes up with a save.
Well, the most encouraging sign, I think, if you're a Red Wing fan right now, is that Keith Petrozelli has played really, really well. He's had to make some key stops, and I think the play's getting a little bit ragged. Guys are starting to turn the puck over a little bit more, and I think it's just trying to make plays, obviously. But I think that, as you said, Ken, it looks like the week might be catching up with some of these fellas.
Well, Berglund played that puck around the boards into the corner, comes back to the line. Now shoveled in. Team Howe dominating. Valeno pulls up, tried to feather it across. Now it's intercepted by Robinson. Haven't seen the speed of Robinson that we did last night.
No, we haven't. I
think a lot of it maybe is that he had a lot of open ice yesterday to showcase that speed.
Right, a little bit different. As we said, though, both teams have been really pretty tenacious on the forecheck, and they've been doing it very, very well. Again, Ryan Kufner, though, showing some real speed and determination out there.
Berggren has Kufner as a trailer. Berggren has it along the near wing. Shovels it into the corner for Kufner. He and Hiroshi battle for it. Hiroshi goes down, but shovels it behind the goal to Setkov. Pearson to try and play it.
I think when you look at Kufner and Hiroshi, it was kind of interesting to see them go at it. But Kufner, again, you can tell, he looks different than he did when he was with the Red Wings. I think he's getting confidence and he's starting to do some things that he's comfortable doing, basically scoring some goals.
Well, it also can't be easy to be thrown in that NHL situation when you're just a college athlete for the most part.
Right. I mean, one day, he's hitting the books at Princeton and playing college hockey, and, he's thrown into the environment of the NHL, which certainly, as you're right, Danielle, is a little bit different.
When I was in college, I was at the student center more than I was in class as the puck goes down into the corner.
The student center?
That's where they had the pool tables and everything.
So you weren't studying. I was waiting for you to say
I was studying how to shoot a pool ball. That's practicing.
Really?
Play is still in that Team Lidstrom zone. Here comes Lalonde with a shot from the blue line. Gloved off by Petruzzelli, the goalkeeper.
So you were kind of like Michigan Fats back then, right? Instead of Minnesota Fats. Hustling a little bit of pool game. The hustler, Kenny Cal.
Practice makes perfect. I like the fact Kufner was hitting the books, though. That's nice. But you know what? It's a big jump going from college hockey to pro hockey, especially in the National Hockey League. And so, it was a great learning experience for Ryan Kufner.
Well, obviously Princeton, a fine institution, an Ivy League school. I asked him when he got up here, I go, you're going to go back to your hotel after today's practice and just crack a book open because you missed studying? And he said, no way.
11 minutes to go, second period. No scoring here in the second period. All the goals coming in the opening period. Sider making his way into the corner, fends off a check, gets it behind the goal. Not O'Reilly with a shot. Petruzzelli the save, and the rebound goes into the corner. That's Sider making a play right there. Puck comes back to the line. Here is Soderblom. Taking a couple of whacks by Phillips. Makes his way into the corner. Centers it out in front. There's Kufner on the door, stepping close. Could not get the scoring chance, and out comes Team Lindsay again. Kevin Mackey up along the near wing. Watched by a couple of those red-shirted Howe sweaters. One of them Sider, the other O'Reilly. Dumps it in. Kufner in the corner for Team Howe. Sider helping out. Now it's stolen. Right circle. Shot on goal. DeRitter the save, and the rebound swept to the line. That was a good scoring chance for Team Lindsay trying to get back into this hockey game. We're halfway through now. 10 minutes to play. It's 3-1 Team Howe.
Right. They're going to need more scoring chances. They're going to have to start dominating the play a little bit more and taking it to Team Howe.
Hey,
Casey with a feed across, a goal scored by Otto Kevin Mackey, and it's a one-goal game, 3-2.
Just as you were saying, they needed more scoring opportunities.
Well, they certainly did. Kevin Mackey, he's what a high skill level player, and he's all over the ice. He's hitting the gym. He's getting bigger and stronger. But I think you can see right there. I mean, he was right in position. He was ready to fire that puck. No sooner was it on his stick, it was off and into the net.
That was a nice feed across, too.
Yeah. Again, the thing that's been impressive all during development camp is the skill level of these players here that the Red Wings have. Offensively and defensively, these guys certainly do have that good hockey sense. They're understanding how to deal with the time and space as you keep moving up levels. So all around, it's been pretty impressive.
Definitely encouraging to see guys like this out on the ice for the future of the Red Wings.
He's a native of Finland, and it just amazes me in any type of world competition or the Olympics how strong the Finn team usually is. They're always in a medal round, it seems.
Well, I believe that the state of Michigan almost has 10 million people in it. The state that we live in, and I think the entire country of Finland is 5 million people. So for them to be on the world stage, but they, talk about a system. They have a system. It's an agitating, slow system where they capitalize on your mistakes. And you can see most Finnish players, they don't need a whole lot of opportunities, but when they get their chances, they bury them. And Kevimaki was perfect there. That was a very, very nice play.
And Keith Petruzzelli also keeping Team Lindsay in this game. We talked about he just came in for the second period, but so far he's seen a lot, and he's definitely been a key part of them being within a goal.
That's a good point, Daniela. And Team Howe, as Art was describing, was dominating for stretches of time. And that's what good goalkeeping gives you. It gives you a lift. And he's kept the puck out of the net. It's given Lindsay an opportunity to get back into this game. And that goal by Kevin Maki makes it a one-goal affair.
Assistant number 50, Thomas Casey.
Casey made a good feed right there.
Yeah, that was a really good play by Casey.
10:02, the time of the goal, one-goal game. Team Howe with the lead. Here's Holloway moving in. Toe drags the puck, and then he lost the handle of it after a nice, solid offensive opportunity.
That was a nice play.
Definitely noticing the physicality again. You're seeing it get a little chippy out there.
Well, right now, Team Howe's thinking, wow, we've been pretty much the better team this whole game, and we're only up by a goal, so they're going to want to establish themselves here. And certainly Team Lindsay scoring a goal has some incentive. Especially, and you're right, Danielle, as you said, I think Keith Petruzzelli's goaltending has kept them in it, and they're feeling pretty good about their chances.
Here's a breakaway making his way in. Here's a quick snapshot right there by Lalonde. Now he feeds the puck, circling the net. He had a good scoring opportunity. Another big save by Petruzzelli there. Another kick pad save. He's diving across the goal crease. And it's sent across, and he knocked it away. What a great opportunity for Team Howe. And Petruzzelli with that big frame making a huge save.
He looked like a very large Dominic Hasek. He was flopping all over the place.
He was. That was a great play, though. Kept another play to keep him in this one.
Right. Petruzzelli has been the story really in the second period for Team Lindsay because Team Howe has really had numerous scoring chances, and he's come up big.
He stopped a breakaway just moments ago, and then he was flopping around like a fish out of water, and he was knocking that puck loose. 8:10 to play, second period, one-goal game. Team Howe with the lead. They had led 3-0 at one point. Now McLeod racing over the blue line, cutting in. Good defensive play by Barton right there to knock the puck away.
Seth Barton, a bit of a late bloomer, but had a great freshman year at UMass Lowell.
Play almost offside. Berggren with a feed for Joe Valeno. Make that Kufner. Kufner brings that puck back to his own blue line as they regroup. Out towards Petruzzelli, the goalkeeper. He'll knock it away. Out to center ice. It comes front of the penalty box. It's shot in by Phillips into the corner. Now a race for the puck. Moore to pick it up. The defender for Team Howe. It's played up the boards and out to center ice. Kufner with a hit on his man. He goes down. That hit was laid on Destus.
I think that would have been a penalty in a real game.
There probably would have been a couple.
That
right?
was pretty close to the board there.
The refs are letting them play here this afternoon. No penalties called in the hockey game. I'd like to see what they could do on a power play, though. We might see a few penalties called in the third.
Right. You're kind of wondering because I do see them holding whistles in their hand. They're just not bringing them up to their mouths.
I think the coaches on both sides would like to see a couple of power play opportunities and penalty kill experiences as well.
Well, yeah, certainly. I mean, you want to see what these kids can do in those situations. You expect some of them eventually are going to be penalty killers for the Red Wings, and others are going to be on the power play for the Wings.
6:40 to go, second period. Only one goal scored here in the second. It's by this man who's cruising in, Kevin Maki, with a backhand try and tie it up, and DeRitter made the save.
Nice play there by DeRitter, too.
Big hit along the far boards. Now it comes out to center ice. Up across the line. It's scooped up by Team Lindsay. They fail to clear it out. Soderblom makes his way in with a wrist shot. It was a hard one, but wide of the goal off the glass.
I'll tell you, Elmer's a pretty good player. For being such a large man, he gets to the net real well.
Mastra Simone will make that groove. Going after the puck in the corner. I don't know if Mastro Simone is injured or not, or
I don't think
bumped and bruised it, because we haven't seen him since the first period.
Right. Yeah, he or Jack Adams,
right?
Yeah,
he or Jack Adams. And those are two bitty guys who were pretty good last night in the 3-on-3 tournament.
Lucas Savages trying to clear it out. Here's Setkov getting it back in the line. Gustav Lindstrom over to the right circle. Shot taken by the forward Bizier, and that one wide of the goal. Now Robinson has it. Quick feed over the blue line. 2-on-0 break. Here's a pass across, a drive, and they score. McLeod fires it in. And the game is tied 3-3.
We saw a bit of McLeod last night in the 3-on-3 tournament. As I mentioned earlier, he was playing with Joe Valeno. You saw them and their chemistry from playing together, but that was a great play, great finish.
Well, they did what they had to do. A turnover there at the blue line, and DeRitter really didn't have much of a chance on that one, but, goes up high. DeRitter, not the tallest goaltender around, went down and, had the top of the net open, and make no mistake, McLeod put it high up to where Ken keeps the old granddad.
That was a setup by Tufto, right? He's got a goal.
Yeah, goal and assist, and he's looked impressive even in the 3-on-3 play that we saw yesterday. So McLeod with the goal, fed up by Tufto, a shot by Dastu from the blue line, and the goaltender DeRitter hanging on.
Late arriving crowd, but it's a lot of people here, and it's been thoroughly entertaining. It started off slow the second period. The goaltenders made some big saves, but it's starting to pick up again. The pace is starting to get a little bit quicker, a little bit faster. And Danielle, as you pointed out, the physical play, well, it's been there.
Nice crowd on hand here for a Saturday afternoon matinee contest. Seeing some good hockey action. Glad you're a part on the live stream. Dastu with a shot from the left side on goal, and Drew DeRitter with the save.
I think you can make it a doubleheader today. Watch the red and white game, then go over across the street and watch the Tigers.
Absolutely. It's only a couple blocks away, too.
Beautiful day for it. A little hot, but it's a beautiful day.
Well, that's what's great about baseball. That's why you need beer.
Next to the old granddad on the top shelf.
That's right. Ken mixes it. It's amazing. Beer and old granddad. What do you call that, Ken? The Cal special?
The old picker-upper.
The old picker-upper. Touche. I like that name.
3-3 tie. 2 goals by Team Lindsay to tie it up here in the second. Feed pass right circle. Circling the net, Lalonde. Trying to look for someone to pass to in front. Throws it to the line. Sider, quick feed. Barton makes his way in with a shot. And Petruzzelli with a big save as he closed the pads.
Well, Keith Petruzzelli's play here in the second period, especially early on, when Team Lindsay was trailing by 2 goals, kept them in the hockey game, prevented it from being a little bit of a blowout, and bam, Team Lindsay now has tied it up 3-3, and Keith Petruzzelli, there's his numbers at Quinnipiac, 8-3, 14 games, had a real rough freshman year at Quinnipiac, but bounced back nicely as a sophomore and expects to be the #1 goalie for Quinnipiac this upcoming season.
And Daniela, you brought up a good point. You said that he was a difference maker in the second period, Petruzzelli, and you're right, he's kept his team in the game, and Lindsay coming back with 2 goals to tie it up. Buck along the near wing. Here's Berggren out to center ice for Team Howe, taking a look over his left shoulder, brings it back up across the line, pulls up, feed pass across. Casey intercepts, swings it out to center. McLeod overskated the puck, and that allows Team Howe to dump it in.
Right, Team Howe needs to regroup a little bit, get that mojo. I mean, they had a lot of things working in their favor, and maybe you need a player like Joe Valeno just to take this game over a little bit.
He hasn't really been that dominant, Joe Valeno, in this game.
No, he really hasn't. He looks a little slow. Maybe he's a little gassed.
Berggren pulled up as he would have been offside up across the line. 3:05 to go, second period, game tied 3-3. Gustav Lindstrom in behind his own goal. And that's Lucas Savages with another good play to tie him up and steal the puck for a moment.
Gustav Lindstrom was a player I wanted to watch. And again, I think Gustav has not exactly maybe lived up to what his expectation level is.
Lindstrom along the boards, knocked down, chipped it out to center ice. Tufto dropping it back. Kevin Maki will deflect that puck down the ice. And one thing I know about Kevin Maki, he's quite the playmaker. He made some nice passes on that breakout in his own end, and he can finish. He's got a goal in the game.
He's a highly skilled player. For him, it's all going to come down to putting on strength. It doesn't so much the size or the weight, but if he's strong and strong off the puck, he just has to get stronger. And he could be quite a find for the Red Wings.
Here's Valeno now breaking in on goal, and he was bothered from behind as he got a weak backhand away. Petruzzelli, the pad save. Now back comes Team Lindsay. Centering attempt broken up, and Team Howe comes back on a 4-on-2, but Setkoff intercepted it. Now it's Kotkinsalo to lift it over the line. Valeno turning away, got it to the left circle. Now it's circled in behind the goal. Wraparound try
nice
by
play.
Kotkinsalo. And Petruzzelli got a little help from the goalpost that time, but a minute 43 to go in the second period, a 3-3 tie.
That's a nice play by Valeno to get the puck to Kotkinsalo, and Casper with the wraparound just missed it, but Petruzzelli again right there where he had to be.
Lalonde out to center ice. Oh, almost too many men on the ice. Quick change there by the Team House. Sider jumping over the boards.
That I don't think that really matters anymore.
Phillips with a shot on goal.
You can have 9 guys out there. And
The Ritter the save.
There's going to be no calls.
Now, see, that would have been a good power play opportunity.
Right,
to call too
exactly.
many men on the ice, right?
Right.
I really hope we see a couple. I don't know if there's some kind of plan that the coaches have or anything like that, but I would like to see a couple power plays.
Well, Daniela, you have the clout. Maybe you should exert it a little bit and make sure we get some.
What do I have?
You have the clout down there. Get down there and tell them, hey, look.
Maybe we get Carly Johnston down there.
Yeah,
and,
we should.
Peel the walls off, the paint off the walls in the refs room in between periods. Come on, fellas, pick it up.
Minute 10 to go, 3-3 tie. The puck is in the Team Lindsay zone. Backhand try right out in front by Limoges, and he was stopped by Petruzzelli with a minute to play now.
Limoges finally accepting that goal will not count last night and has moved on.
He'd like to get a big goal here. Give his team the lead. 3-3 tie.
Well, it would be poetic justice if he scores the game winner for Team Lindsay.
Yeah, he was robbed last night,
Right.
that's for sure. Mo Sider, he's logged a lot of ice time, spinning with his own zone. Now he gains momentum through center ice. Lane was shut down. He pulled it back. Saw a lot of that from the Russian 5 back in the day. Quick feed, Berggren now, right circle, feed out in front.
Well, that was so interesting. The Russian 5, I mean, they never dumped the puck in, ever. And it was a ballet on ice.
Talked to Larry Honoff one time about that, and he says, why would you want to give up the puck? Because it's so hard for you to keep it. You don't want to give it up. So if the play's not there, you circle back and try it again. Here's Berggren. Time winding down, a pass in front, and the horn sounds. But Team Lindsay coming back. 2 goals in that second period, one by Otto Kevin Maki, the other by McLeod, and we're all tied up 3-3 going into the third period.
Right, and give that number 1 star of that period goes to Keith Petruzzelli. He shut out Team Howe. Team Howe has a lot of high-end players on it, and he came up big, kept his team in it, and then Team Lindsay mounts a little bit of a comeback, and we're going to have a great third period, 3-3 tie.
Keith Petruzzelli, definitely the story of that period and the comeback of Team Lindsay. We'll have some highlights for you when we come back, so stay with us. Welcome back, everybody, and as promised, we're going to have some highlights from that second period that was dominated by Team Lindsay after the first one was dominated by Team Howe. And as we mentioned, I think the story of that second period was Keith Petruzzelli in net for Team Lindsay, keeping him in that one. So let's take a look at a save that he made to kick these off. He made a few saves that were very, very crucial. So what did you think of him in that second period?
Well, I thought Petruzzelli really kept his team in the game, allowed Team Lindsay to mount a comeback. I mean, Team Howe had some chances, and we're going to see one right here. And, you know, Keith, actually, that was actually a good play by one of the forwards coming back and lifting the stick.
That was Lucas Savages, who continues to play well in this development camp.
Yes, and then there were 2 goals by Team Lindsay in that period. We had the first one. It was Gregor McLeod. We talked a lot about him and from the feet on Tufto.
Yeah, right there, I think that's Kevin Maki, I think.
Yes, it is, Art.
And
Oh, yep, that was the next goal. That's Kevin Maki, and that was a great feed on that play, too.
Right, he's a high skill level player. You know, again, it's not so much his size as he can build up his strength and his stamina. The Red Wings really do like his game. He has high skill, and he showed it.
Had the goals out of order. There's the one from McLeod.
He was set up by Tufto right there, and he made a nice pass across on really a 2-on-0. DeRitter, the goaltender, diving across, could not get to it, but good passing play, a good finish, and 2 goals by Team Lindsay there in the second period, and we're all tied up going into the third period in this championship red-white game.
And here you're looking at the numbers of Keith Petruzzelli from his season with Quinnipiac, and he's been playing very well there. You said he had a tough first year, but he looks good today.
Right, he had a real difficult transition. You know, I think academics and hockey it was a tough balance for him as a freshman. Came to Quinnipiac as a sophomore, played in 14 games, shared the net with Andrew Shortridge, who had a really good year, his goaltending partner who signed a contract with San Jose. But as you can see, not bad numbers, save percentage 904, 2.4 goals against, 3 shutouts, 8-3 record. You know, the thing for Keith right now, and I think you could see it, you know, he's get a little confidence. I'm sure that second period has been a boost to him, and then go to Quinnipiac for his junior season, be the #1 netminder, and really establish himself.
A huge asset in that comeback for Team Lindsay. We've got a tie game at 3-3 now. What did you think overall of Team Lindsay, and what do you think it was in that second period that was different from the first? Because it seemed like roles completely switched there.
I think there were a couple of opportunities, some breakdowns on that Team Howe defensively, and Team Lindsay took advantage of it. We saw both goals, and especially that last goal that was scored by McLeod, really a nice passing play across. But again, those 2 forwards for Team Lindsay got behind the Team Howe defense and made the play and made it count. So, you know, I really liked the play of Team Howe early in the second period. They were all over. Petruzzelli, as you described, Daniela and Art, were terrific, or was terrific. And again, we've got a good game going into the third period here, and nice crowd on hand, and they're seeing some pretty good hockey here in this red-white game.
Right, I think the guys in the room right now, Team Lindsay, what did they like about that second period? They liked Keith Petruzzelli's goaltending to keep them in it, which allowed them to come back. And as you said, Ken, there were a couple of you know, glaring turnovers at the blue line, and you know, when you're going in on a goaltender 2-on-0, you know, you should score, and that's exactly what Team Howe did. Or pardon me, Team Lindsay.
Let's touch on Mo Sider one more time for that period, because we have seen a lot of ice time from him, and he's playing pretty well on both ends of the puck.
Yeah, certainly. And again, he made a couple of nice defensive plays also. And what I really like about him is his offensive game. And, you know, he has that ability to see the ice well in the offensive zone and really create plays. And he's a big body, and he can win battles along the boards, too, to keep the puck in. He was really good, I thought, offensively in the game so far.
You know, for being a teenager, I can see why he won the Rookie of the League in the German League, because he is truly a very calm presence out on the ice, and I think that his calmness kind of transcends to the rest of his team. I like the way that he directs guys out on the ice. He's always talking to them. He's pointing. This is my man. You get this guy. I mean, he's thinking the game. He's a thinking man's hockey player. And again, I think that's one of the reasons why the Red Wings really did like him and took him at 6 overall last weekend in Vancouver.
And, we talked a lot about these guys maybe being a little gassed from the whole week of development camp. This is their 5th day skating, and especially with that tournament last night, they have been skating a ton. But the physicality has also been there, and I feel like it's just getting more intense as the game goes on.
Some big body checks there in the second period, more than what we saw in the first period. But looking ahead, Daniela and Art, these guys are competitive, and as much as they've been gassed and they skated miles in yesterday's 3-on-3 game, and so far after 2 periods here, each team, they want bragging rights. They want to win. So I think we're going to see a dynamic third period coming up here, and it's going to be intense.
And they also know that as each second ticks away on the clock, they're losing time to make an impression on the Red Wing organization. Whether the guys that have to go back to college, or they have to go back to Europe, or guys that are here as free agent invitees that would like to get an invite to the prospects tournament, and then eventually a Red Wing camp up in Traverse City in September. So I think you're going to see the intensity level just increase, the body checks increase, because as I said, players here that believe they're on the bubble or have to go back and can't participate in the prospects tournament or Red Wing training camp, this is going to be their last period to leave a lasting impression on the Red Wings.
One of the things I was thinking about, Art and Daniela, was a couple of moments ago before we got back to the stream here, is how interesting it is for the fans to be able to watch some of the players that are playing in this game this afternoon, and they get a good sense of who they are, and then come September in the development camp or the prospects tournament out in Traverse City right before regular training camp, is they can identify now with some of the players that they're actually seeing on the ice here at development camp. So it'll be interesting to see who will get invited, who will play in that development camp, which is the Friday after Labor Day, and then see if any of those players move on and get invited to the regular Red Wings training camp.
And that's a good brand of hockey too, because what you'd have is in the prospects is a prospects tournament, 6 other NHL clubs, or 7 I guess other NHL clubs. It's kind of a round robin tournament. Last year the Red Wings were in the championship. They did not win it, but that's a really high-end hockey, and if you have the chance, if you can get up to Traverse City, I suggest that, because the prospects tournament's a lot of fun.
Yep, it's Friday, Saturday after Labor Day, and then they take off Sunday, and then it finishes off on Monday and Tuesday. The championship game is on Tuesday. So, yep, if you're in the Traverse City area, plan on making a nice trip up north in September. Always a good time to be up in Traverse City. Then check it out.
Best time to be in Traverse City, the early September there during Red Wings training camp. Been there, Ken, as many years, and they do a wonderful job up there at the Center Ice Arena Complex, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm really looking forward to it because, another thing that's happening on July 1st is free agency opens up, and will the Red Wings make some moves, or will they stay patient? Well, who knows, but I'm eager to see what that roster is going to look like come October 5th.
Well, I can only imagine it's definitely got to be a good time up there in Traverse City, because just development camp in itself has been a lot of fun to watch. And I'm sure these players, we've talked about it a little bit, it's very competitive, very highly skilled, but they have to be having a great time doing this kind of stuff.
Absolutely, and you know what, as much as they compete out there on the ice, these are young players and they want to have a lot of fun too, and I think the guys have really enjoyed the development camp. I think the coaches that have been working with them on the ice really enjoyed their work ethic and their attention to detail, and it's only going to help them get better, and this is always a great chance for them to learn and just get better.
Well, when you talk to these prospects, the one thing that's really interesting is that they all talk about Sean Horkoff, Dan Cleary, and their staff, and what influence they've had on them. And I really would tip my cap to Sean Horkoff, because since he's become the director of player development for the Red Wings, he is kind of cutting edge. He has added a lot of different drills and things that he wants to see, and he's in contact with each and every one of these prospects throughout the season, making sure that they're doing everything right, giving them constructive criticism or patting them on the back when they need it. And I think that Sean Horkoff has been a wonderful addition to the Red Wings staff.
Well, we're just a short moment away from the start of the third period, and we've got 2 new goaltenders for Team Howe. The goaltender now is Victor Bratstrom, and for Team Lindsay, it'll be Carter Geilander.
And Carter Geilander, who was drafted last week, the last player taken by the Red Wings, their final pick, he was taken in the 7th round, 191st overall. By all accounts, he has progressed. He's a big goaltender, and that Red Wings are very, very high on him. He's 6'5", 172 pounds, plays for Sherwood Park in the AJHL, but will go back to that level. But then he is slated to play at Colgate, not this upcoming season, but the next season. So he's about 4 or 5 years away, but if he keeps developing, he could be a name to watch out for.
I'm going to let Ken take this away in just a second, but we want to say thank you to everybody watching out there on YouTube. We see you all in the comment section, so thank you for tuning in. Guys, why don't you say a quick thank you as well?
Yeah, absolutely. It's always great to watch some hockey, and getting ready for the regular season. We'll come back, come here on October the 5th and then October 6th against the Dallas Stars, so thanks for tuning in.
Ditto.
There you
Thank you
go.
very much. It's always fun. We enjoy it, and it beats working for a living, as I've always said.
Here's Tufto, 2 points in the game. He scores on a backhand. Then he goes crashing in along the end boards. He's slow getting up. That's his 3rd point of the game, and Tufto has given his team a 4-3 lead.
Well, you hate to see anybody shaken up, but hopefully it's just that, just shaken up from running into the boards. What a great play, a way to finish it.
Well, it looks like he jammed his lower back a little bit, kind of wrenched it.
Yeah.
I'm not so sure Valeno, who was there, got a stick on him. I think he may have just lost an edge and went crashing in along those end boards. But what a game for Tufto. From Minnesota, and he has 3 points in the game, and this is the first lead of the hockey game for Team Lindsay.
Odin, isn't that Thor's brother or father, Odin?
Only you would know that,
I was
Art.
just thinking,
Only you.
It's definitely a Nordic name. Kind of cool, though.
All right, Casey checked in along the board, and an early goal scored by Tufto as the puck goes into the corner in the Team Howe zone. Hiroshi picked up another point. Lalonde over the line, right circle feed across, and Luca Savage is fanned on it as he tried to one-time that shot.
Well, since Team Howe took a 3-0 lead, it's been Team Lindsay, and one of the guys they have to thank for it is the goaltending play in the second period of Keith Petruzzelli.
And Tufto, he's been playing very well. That's
Tufto-
his 3rd
Tufto-
point of the game. We talk about size a little bit. Tufto is another one of those forwards he's 5'8", and he's just been a powerhouse in this game.
Well, what we've stressed overall, the way the NHL is going, it's time and space, obviously, but it's a speed game. You don't have to be very tall anymore, but you have to be strong.
Right.
You have to have physical strength. And if you're 5'8", but you can, you're hard to get off that puck and you're a little bit of a playmaker, you have a legitimate shot in the National Hockey League.
And you definitely just described Tufto. Hard to get off the puck and a playmaker.
Puck is along the far boards, and Team Lindsay will break out with it along the near side. That's Berglund, and he will lift it end over end and behind the goal, and the new goaltender, Victor Bratstrom. Oh, puck loose out in front, cleared away. Soderblom, the forward who knocked it loose in front of that empty goal. Now Berglund in the corner, takes a little bit of a bump, played it around the boards, pinching in to hold it in. And that is Hallway, the tall defender for Team Howe, into the corner. Soderblom looking for the puck. Now it's passed across, off a stick, off the windows, back into the corner. O'Reilly tried to shovel it to the blue line, intercepted by Team Lindsay. Pass was in behind McLeod. Change made by Team Lindsay after they shoot it into the Team Howe zone.
Well, it'll be interesting to see Team Howe now, how resilient they are. They had the lead. They had a 3-0 lead. They're now down 4-3 here in the 3rd period. Can they will themselves to come back in this hockey game?
Law against the Tufto over the blue line, feed pass, shot through the goal mouth, wide of the target, lively rebound off the end boards. Valeno hustling after it, but it's knocked away from him by the Team Lindsay defense.
Ken and Daniela, I think that this would be a chance now with his team behind where I think the Red Wings would like to see Joe Valeno take this game over.
Absolutely. Here's a shot by Berglund. Right out in front of the goal, and a save made by the goaltender, Victor Bratstrom.
I think you're going to see a lot of Valeno, Sider, Katz Gonzalo, fellows like that here. Berggren for Team Howe in the 3rd period.
16:50 to play, 3rd period. It's a 4-3 Team Lindsay lead. Morgan had the puck knocked away. Casey 2-on-2 to Hiroshi over the blue line. Taro Hiroshi spins with it, checked in along the boards by Lalonde. He goes down. From the blue line, Setkoff got it over to Datus with a shot, and he fired it wide of the goal. Another drive taken, a wrister from the blue line by Setkoff over the crossbar. Team Lindsay threatening a little bit, trying to add to their 1-goal lead here in the third.
I've been pretty impressed with Setkoff, too. You know, for a guy that doesn't have much of an offensive game, he's been pretty aggressive.
Sider with a good play to bounce it off the boards to get out of traffic, and then picked up his own pass, and then now on the breakout, here they come. Oop, play will be offside, so Team Howe pulls it back. That is Kufner, heads up play, shot the puck off a stick wide of the goal, sends it out in front. Now a turnaround shot from the right side by Pearson wide of the goal. Cockensalo holds it in, got the shot away, knocking it away, the goaltender Geilander. Play held in by Team Howe. Pearson plays that puck around the boards and behind the goal. Team Howe trying to tie it up. It's 4-3 Team Lindsay. Out to center ice Phillips. Pearson fished it away from him. Now it's Setkoff. He's played well back there on the blue line,
Yeah,
Setkoff.
he really has. He's been pretty impressive. A couple of years ago, his first development camp, he was a string beam, but he's filling out quite nicely. And, you know, again, if he can add offense to his game, could be a bit of a find.
Here's Lucas Savages making his way in. Tried to thread it out in front. That play started by Cockensalo with a turnaround spin move pass to Lucas Savages, who made his way in on goal.
Well, I think you can tell. Team House picked up the pace here a little bit, and I'm not going to say they're playing with complete desperation, but you can tell that you know, they know they're behind, and they've got to be making something happen here pretty quick.
Play down low in the Team Howe zone. Into the corner, Groove. Checks Sider, comes away with the puck. Worked it to the blue line, not out. Sider all over his man. Groove, now it's Lucas Savages picking it up and playing it into the corner. Boy, Lucas Savages has been all over the puck. He's been good here today and also yesterday in the 3-on-3 as Johansson brings it forward. Quick move out to center to get away from traffic. Over the line, got the shot away, it was blocked.
He totally grasps the situation he's in, Lucas Savages.
Now here is Kevin Mackey with a pass out in front. Backhand try opportunity. Wide of the goal by McCray, who came in from the blue line. Now lifted out to the blue line, punch back in. If Lindsay touched the puck, it would have been offside. Sider now with a long shot on goal. It was a low dipping shot, and Carter Geilander comes up with a glove hand save.
Well, so far it seems to be pretty evenly matched in this period. We saw some clear dominance in the other two, but this one's going back and forth.
Well, a little bit back and forth. I think that, you know, Team Howe has, I think they're getting a little more aggressive as the time winds down the clock here. They're going to have to, you know, start taking some chances.
Well, the story has been the goalkeeping of Keith Petrozelli in that second period, keeping Team Lindsay in the game. And how about Odin Tupto? 2 goals and an assist in this contest. He's got the go-ahead goal for Team Lindsay in the third.
He's back out there.
Setkoff at the blue line, pushed down. Puck kept alive along the near wing, turning with it Robinson. Back on the line of Setkoff. Fired a shot, and that deflects off the stick of Busick and into the protective netting.
I mean, Setkoff's seen a lot of ice time, too, here in that third period. But I think, you know, he's being rewarded for being good and solid back there and also trying to take some chances offensively, joining the rush and going to the front of the net if he sees that opportunity. Malty Setkoff, I guess I shouldn't be surprised. The Red Wings have always been pretty high on him, but he's a raw talent, but looks like his game's shaping up nicely.
Tomisto, a shot from the blue line, stick to side by the goaltender, Victor Brackstrom. Each team has used 3 goaltenders in the game, 1 per period. Team Howe striding back. Well, that play looked like it was offside, but the play continues. A centering attempt out in front, knocked away. Hallway at the right point has it. Hallway long shot through traffic. Glove save made by Carter Geilander. 12:09 to go in the third, and the clock continues to count down. I guess they want to speed up this game a little bit.
Yeah, you're really.
4-3 is our score, Team Lindsay.
I think if Team Howe wasn't desperate, now that the clock is running clock, they're going to really up their play a little bit here.
A nice check in the corner, and Daniela, you talked about that physical play in the second period.
definitely continuing into this third period. But as Art had mentioned, Howe's kind of playing from behind, so they've got to be physical.
Ryan Kufner, he has a goal in the game.
Yeah, they've got to make something happen.
Here's Berggren with speed, making his way in behind the goal. Centers it out in front, short side, knocked away. Back to the blue line, held in, Johansson. Feed pass, couple of nifty moves there by the defenseman Sider. Got a turnaround shot away, blocked, never did make it through the Geilander, the goaltender. Sider has it at the line again, good spin move to get away from traffic. Back pedals into the corner, slides it out to the right point to Johansson.
We haven't seen a lot of Mo Sider's game, but I think the spin move is going to be his patented move, Ken. He's real comfortable making
That
it.
was outstanding to get away from Kevin Mackey.
Extremely smooth, too. It didn't even look like he missed a beat.
No, he knows what he's going to do. He anticipates well. There's no indecisiveness to his game.
He's also made a couple of good moves in his defensive zone as well, getting the puck out. Joe Valeno, he's been kind of quiet here. Got that puck up to Lalonde, carrying over the blue line. Now the trailer, Moore with a shot. Geilander, the save, and he will hang on.
Geilander can see the puck, and obviously if a goaltender can see the puck, he's going to make the save. Pardon me?
And they just showed a big shot of our social media staff.
Yes, of
Andrew
course.
and Stacy.
Beautiful. Hard at work as always. Creating those social
Dealing
media
with us
gems.
on the stream, that they're definitely working hard.
I know I'm going to get a couple of texts from Andrew.
Well, that Andrew, he's something else, that kid.
9:41 to play, third period, 4-3 lead for Team Lindsay. It's their first lead of the game. As you described, Art, Team Howe had a 3-0 lead, and the next 4 goals were scored by Team Lindsay.
And just like they were when the majority of them were Team Del Vecchio last night, who won the 3-on-3 tournament. Not much expected of them. All they do is keep surprising and winning.
You know, we didn't get your odds on this game before we started, so I can't take them now, though. Too late.
Ken said that it was even money, Team Howe.
Here's Tufto. He's got 2 goals and an assist in the game. Eased in along the boards. Moves it to Robinson. Back to the line. Setkoff for the shot. Sticked away by the goaltender, Victor Brackstrom.
Tomisto's out there, too. He was a second-round pick last week in Vancouver for the Red Wings. Pretty good, solid game. I'm not so sure if that's good or bad that we haven't been calling his name. Does that mean he's just playing his good, solid game? Or that he needs to pick it up a little bit.
Probably playing a good, solid game.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to say.
Here's Barton in the corner, trying to make a move. Brings it back towards the top of the circle. Spin move. Now moves his way. Make that Busick in behind the goal. Busick with a centering attempt off a stick. Comes to Kinsalo. Makes his way into the corner.
For some of these old-timers, Busick, a little Johnny Busick, spelled it a little bit different, but Johnny Busick, originally a Red Wing.
Absolutely. I think he was dealt to Boston along with, trying to think of the player, Pitt Martin maybe?
Well, Pitt Martin, when you look at it, Paul Henderson, Pitt Martin, Johnny Busick, the Red Wings had a lot of guys that Jack Adams, not to be confused with the current Jack Adams on the Red Wings, but, just moved.
Could have been in the Terry Sawchuk deal, too. Sawchuk and Busick went to Boston.
Just for being 6 teams, well, maybe they did a lot of movement back then. If you fell in disfavor, you were moved.
A lot of people watching our stream probably don't even know who those players are right now.
No, they really don't, and but it's a little bit of a history lesson too.
Casey trying to make his way in. It's a 1-goal game. 4-3 in favor of Team Lindsay. 7:25 to play in regulation.
Art Regner, Daniela Bruce here with Professor Cal.
Here's Soderblom making his way in, and he was covered. Ran out of real estate by McLeod. Battle for it along the boards.
Wow, he's big. Soderblom has been pretty impressive, really. You just don't see a man that large having the coordination like that.
Here's McLeod. He has a goal in the hockey game. Makes his way into the corner. Now to Hiroshi. Fires it in behind the goal. It's picked up and played ahead. Morgan trying to chip it out. Got a bump from McRae as it's tapped out to the blue line. McRae shovels a backhand up across the blue line. Here's Sorosi getting the feed from Kevin Maki, and he got a shot away, and Bratstrom came up with a save.
We haven't had a lot of scoring chances in this third period. The guys are really shutting it down. A lot of tight checking going on. Pretty impressive, but you've got to think Team Howe here, especially with a running clock, got to get something going. We're going to see some chances taken.
Here's a Rossi stealing a pass, moving it to Kevin Maki into the slot, back to Rossi, and it's stolen, and back the other way. Here's Joe Valeno, 2-on-1. Pass out in front, a saucer pass. It was intended right out in front of the goal for Yetman, and it just hopped over his stick. Gotta love that saucer pass right there.
You do, and I like what Joe was thinking on that play.
That's the most we've seen from him in a little while here. He's been pretty quiet, but that was a great thought. And
got Kinsella over the line. Now to Berggren. Berggren takes it back to the middle of the blue line, trying to make a play, swings it over, right side, good scoring chance, off the crossbar. A quick shot, and Team Howe almost tying up the hockey game. Got Kinsella from the line, whiffed on it.
Fan on it, yep.
Phillips has it, starts the attack for Lindsay. Now it's knocked away to Kufner.
Ooh.
Broken up at center again. 5.5 to go in regulation. 1 goal lead for Team Lindsay, 4-3.
Team Howe now, you can see it. They're starting to up it up. They're amping up their game a little bit.
The only thing about that is if you get a little too creative out there, it can cost you, as the other team can come back on an odd man rush.
Well, that's exactly right. And we almost had one there the last play.
But you got to take chances if you want to get back into the game. Here is Groove. In behind the goal, centers it out in front, knocked away out in front. Bratstrom in goal. Had a good look at that one. Buck sent in front of the penalty box, and Loggins to fire it into the corner. Team Howe trying to make something happen here. Pass out to center, deflected off the stick of Carter to the side of the goaltender, Geilander, and he'll hang on to it with 4:32 to go.
Sean Horkoff is behind the Team Howe bench. I wonder, with a running clock, what his philosophy is. Now they've stopped it actually with a whistle, but when do you pull your goaltender at this point? And another thing, and we weren't privy to it unless that. I'm still surprised we haven't seen any kind of specialty team play at all. No power plays, obviously no penalty kill then too, but this has been a good up and down game. I mean, the action's been here. The entertainment value has been really, really good, but it'll be interesting to see how this last 4:32 plays out.
And like we had said before, seeing some power plays and penalty kills would have been pretty cool for the fans, cool for us to see, but could that be a coaching standpoint that they didn't want it to be that way? They wanted evenly matched play?
That's a possibility. I think the closest we're going to see to a power play, if it remains a 1-goal lead, we're going to see a goaltender pulled, and then that's your best opportunity, your best look on what you want to call an extra man or power play.
Well, that's good. They probably want to see him in 5-on-5 situations, because even though sometimes when you go to a game and it's penalty filled, most of the play is 5-on-5, and you want to see what these players, have, how they mesh together as a team, how they take their skill set, and how they adapt to the players around them. So I think that's a pretty good point. Yet, certainly the Red Wings, the big club, needs help on the power play, needs help on the penalty kill too. And I think it'd be nice to see. I'm not sure now, in previous red and white games the last couple of years, regardless of what the score is, it always closed with a shootout. I don't know if we're going to see that or not. Maybe based on having a 3-on-3 tournament last night, they've seen enough of that. But I'm under the impression once this game is over, it is over. I had several people as I walked in today, if they weren't asking me about Mo Sider, they were asking me if there was going to be a shootout at the end regardless. And so I'm thinking, well, these are people who've gone to the red and white game before. But that I don't know. But right now, Joe Valeno's back out there, and his team needs a goal.
This is where guys like Joe Valeno steps up the game. You know what I mean? Like the best players sometimes, you don't see them throughout the course of the game, but then in the waning moments when you need a big goal or a big play, they come through.
Well, you have it right now. You have Valeno out there along with Sider on the blue line. O'Reilly. The Red Wings have all pretty high draft picks out for Team Howe at this point, and they're trailing, so what can they do?
Well, we'll see what happens here as Johansson cuts in front of his own goal, lost the handle of it. Kevin Maki, he's been in the middle of it all here today. He's got a big goal, and he's got it again. Carries over the line. Drop pass to McLeod, who cuts out in front with a chance, and a good save by Victor Brackstrom right there.
Really keeping Team Howe in the game.
Goaltending has definitely been pretty good on both the ends of the ice today. Wow, I'm losing it. Where I'm thinking we were still in the 3-on-3 tournament. It's been a long week.
But you're right, Danielle. We said that. You know, where were the goaltenders going to be after the 3-on-3?
Right.
And they've all done pretty well today.
Berglund with a shot from the blue line, and Backstrom makes the save, and he gives his defenseman a little tap. 3:20 to play, 4-3. Team Lindsay with the lead. Well, now we're getting down to the final minutes here, and Team Howe, I expect to see a push, try and tie it up. And, of course, we'll keep an eye on Brackstrom to see when he's lifted for the extra attacker and play is offside.
Yeah, we're almost at the 3-minute mark, and so Sean Horkoff over there deep in thought. Hey, what am I going to do here? How do I want to play this thing out?
From the draw, the Team Lindsay brings it over the line. Bizier said he got clipped to the high stick, but the play continues. He's been pretty quiet today. He had 3 goals yesterday in the championship game as Pearson from Team Howe drills it in. Art, I'm going to tell you to keep an eye on the goaltender Brackstrom there for me.
Yeah, I'm going to. I mean, I'm looking at the clock. That's exactly what I was doing, Ken. You're reading my mind.
That's dangerous.
That means we've been spending too much time together this week, doesn't it?
Yeah. To talk about too many years together, I think.
Yeah, you too.
Talking about Ken's calling Michigan hockey, and we're driving to and from Kalamazoo.
Telling stories.
Yeah.
Oh, here's an opportunity right out in front by Soderblom, and the goaltender Geilander comes up with a big save deep in the crease.
Well, Brackstrom's looking over there too, saying, "You want me out now? You want me out now?" And Horkoff is saying, "No."
You know what's strange now in the National Hockey League is coaches will pull their goaltender sometimes with 4 minutes to go.
Yeah,
especially if you're down by 2 goals.
Yeah, right. I mean, I guess I understand that. Yeah, well, Braxton's out.
There he goes. Extra attacker on for Team Howe.
And that's Joe Valeno's the extra attacker who just came out.
All right, it's a 1-goal game, 2:08 remaining. Sider has the puck. Now hands it off to Berggren, who carries that puck out to center ice. Casey in pursuit. Berggren chopped down. Is he trying to make his way up over the blue line? Kufner picks it up, calling for the puck. Kinsella make that Soderblom with a shot, and he fired it high over the crossbar.
Yeah, he was calling for it. He wanted it. It was right off his stick. Just fired it high.
Team Howe needs a goal to tie it up. Kufner in the corner. Lays that puck in behind the goal. Joe Valeno squeezed it back on the blue line to Sider. Stopped it with that size 12 skate. Moved it across. Now into the corner to Berggren. Berggren tried to fling it out in front and reaching forward in the crease. Geilander. Now Soderblom. A little pushing match with Grieve. And they want to go at it. And they're in a little wrestling match right now. Grieve knocks down Soderblom, pushes him towards the boards, and he got a good punch in. And cooler heads will prevail.
Well, talk about physicality. There you go. I mean, you got to expect it a little bit, though. Like we've talked about, these guys are competing for spots. They're competing for opportunities. So it's competitive. It's just how in their nature.
I think Soderblom, I mean, that's a couple Swedish on Swedish guys going at each other, but I don't think he was expecting a punch.
Well, you know what? He actually got the cross check on Groove there. And Groove's a tough competitor and got in a little wrestling match and pushed him down. Groove did. Still a extra man on the ice. Here's a deflection by Soderblom right out in front of the goal, and Geilander with the save. 1:22 to go. Like I said, they're competitors.
Right, yeah,
they
want
to
to win.
Soderblom. It's back to the blue line. Mo Sider. Far boards. Joe Valeno into the corner. Shot taken and the save made by Geilander again. So Team Howe is applying the pressure. 1:06 to go in regulation. 4-3 lead for Team Lindsay.
I tell you, Geilander is looking pretty unflappable, playing his angles really, really well. And, you know, I mean, Team Howe is pressing the issue right now. They're going right over the net, but he's holding his own.
Sider from the blue line. Flips it across to Valeno with a minute to go. Now to Sider again. Team Howe needs a goal to tie it up. Sider into the corner. Squeezed it down low. It's intercepted, though. That's 2, and now it's cleared all the way down the ice. And this will be an icing call against Team Lindsay with 47.1 seconds to go.
Well, it's pretty sure that the 5 players, or actually I should say 6 players out on the ice, this is who Team Howe's going to go with for the rest of the way. They haven't made many substitutions. Kufner is out there right now.
Soderbaum has to be gassed out there right now.
He really does. But he's pretty good on faceoffs, I'll say that.
Puck held in. Here's a shot wide of the goal. Here's Kufner along the near wing. Finds an opening. Swings it across. A shot. They score!
Valeno.
Joe Valeno tying it up with 32 seconds to go.
Little bonus hockey.
Yeah, and you know, Ken, you mentioned Valeno specifically when saying the players that you might not see the entire game. When you need them, they shine through, and that was Kufner and Valeno that were involved in that one.
Right, you know, that is nice play there by Kufner. I mean, he won the battle for the puck and saw Valeno by himself, and he fired it home.
Big players make big plays and score big goals. Joe Valeno tying it up. 19:27, time of the goal.
Assist to number 85, Elmer Soderblom, and number 57, Jonathan Berggren.
So Soderblom, who was in that scrum with Cruve, comes through with an assist on that goal. And now here out in front of the goal, trying to put it home as Limoges, and now the puck shot down the ice. And regulation ends in a 4-4 tie, and the crowd enjoying that last-minute goal by Joe Valeno.
Right, I mean, Joe Valeno gets a goal, and
So there you go, Art. We'll go right to our red and white shootout.
No overtime.
I want to see 3-on-3.
Yeah, 3-on-3 overtime. What are you talking about?
You know, I remember a game, the Boston Bruins were here, and it might have been a year ago or 2 years ago, and you didn't see anything from Pasternak. You didn't see anything from any of their big guns, right?
Bergeron, Marchand.
Bergeron, Marchand. And you know what? They scored a goal with a minute to go. Wings had the lead. I think it was Marchand, and then Bergeron won it in overtime.
Yeah, I remember. I definitely remember that game. That game hurt.
And they did nothing, or you didn't see them at all during the whole course of the game. But that's what I mean about big players. They step up in big moments. They're the heroes.
Well, you know, that happened with Tampa Bay when they were in town, too. I think the Red Wings took a 3-0 lead on them. I think that was back in December when Nielsen.
Odin's in.
Here's Tufto, a couple of points with a shot. And the save was made by Brattstrom, the goaltender. So Tufto, who had 2 goals and an assist, could not get the big goal here in the shootout.
Not surprising to see him out there shooting first, though.
Well, this kid's a high-skill player. I want to see what kind of move he has here.
Berggren picks it up at center, cuts wide, over the line, slows it down, twisting and turning between the hash marks, try to go upstairs, and Geilander with a save.
I'm not so sure I'm a fan of that like slow, sauntering move into the net. I think it just gives the goalie a lot of time to... I think Hiroshi's going to be a little quicker. Well, maybe not.
See what he does? He cuts between the circles, rather slow, got the shot away, and the save made by Brattstrom. No good.
Just like to see some guy just grab the puck, skate really hard, and just tee off.
I remember Reed Larson who had a heck of a slap shot. He took a slap shot in a New Year's Eve game on a penalty shot and didn't score. All right, here's Mo Sider. Making his way in, cuts out in front of Geilander, picks up speed, and he tried to tuck it in along the far side, but he was stopped.
Again, I like his thinking there, but give DeRitter some or Geilander some credit.
Here's Kevin Mackey.
It's a goal. It's a goal.
Makes his way in. He shoots. He scores! scores! And Art, you called it.
All that kid does is score goals. He's a high skill level guy.
Well, it all comes down to this shot right here. Joe Valeno. He's got to score to keep the shootout going. If he doesn't, the game is over. A lot of pressure on Valeno. Here he comes over the line. Makes a quick, nifty move with a shot. He's stopped by Geilander, and the game is over.
Geilander happy about that save.
Final score, Team Lindsay 5 and Team Howe 4, and a great afternoon of hockey here to end Development Camp 2019.
Well, certainly the comeback kids. A lot of Team Lindsay was Team Delvecchio last night in the 3-on-3 tournament, and they won that too, so they have to feel pretty good. I thought this was a thoroughly entertaining game. I thought the energy level was really high, considering that they played the 3-on-3 tournament last night, so a good effort by both teams, and I think we saw a lot of young men who played their way into an invite at Prospects tournament, Ken.
Well, just a great afternoon, and I love the work ethic, and the coaches did a really good job with this team, just going over the basics, fundamentals, and getting them all ready and prepared, and just a successful development camp, and you got to love it.
It was great, and we've got to tip our hats to Team Lindsay. They were down 3-0 after the first period of play, and like we said, we saw Keith Petrozelli come out and have a great second period. Tufto had a great game. Just some guys really shine through in this
well, yeah, you got to feel good.
Game.
Well, excuse me, Danielle.
That's
You got to feel good for Petrozelli because it's been a rough couple of years for him getting used to that college game. So, he certainly played well enough to get his keep his team in it, mount the comeback for Team Lindsay, and feel pretty good. Guys shaking hands, everyone shaking hands with the referees. I mean, they called a real even, balanced game.
They definitely were not one-sided at all.
No, they did not favor one team over the other.
I just want to say I had fun working with you, Daniela, and Art and Carly throughout the course of the week. I wasn't here last year for development camp, but it certainly was a lot of fun working with you guys and getting a chance to see these young prospects. And I hope the fans that tuned in on the stream, they enjoyed it as well. And Todd Edwards working hard behind the scenes to bring you all the action. Everybody that's our camera crew.
Todd is so
and
happy right now.
else.
I can see the smile on Todd's face. He's so excited that we hit him out. That's our producer, guys. He does all the hard work.
I want to say the same thing, too. The people behind the scenes, led by Todd and his crew, obviously it's always a pleasure to work with Daniela, Bruce. We do the big show together. We love that.
The big show, big screen show.
The big screen show. I'm changing the name of the big show. But anyway, and Ken, we go back a long time. I always love sharing a microphone with you, but to the people really behind the scenes, to the people that built the stage over there at the Belfour Center to us, and it's just been a wonderful experience, and I tip my hat to everybody. This has been a lot of fun. This was really a great development camp and a good experience for us. I can just imagine what it was like for the players.
And you see here some of the fans going out on the ice. They're going to get a stick and a jersey from their selected player. We always do that at the end of the season with the Red Wings. It's the fan appreciation night, and it's usually season ticket holders, so they get to go down there. And what a cool experience for ththese young prospects, too, just to be playing in Little Caesars Arena and have this pretty much professional hockey experience.
Well, this arena is outstanding. I mean, Ken, you've traveled all over the National Hockey League as I have, and as far as arenas go in this and just an environment, it's not much better than Little Caesars Arena.
And what I like is you have the practice sheet, and when there's concerts here at Little Caesars Arena, the team doesn't have to drive all the way out to Grosse Pointe or anywhere else to practice. They can skate right here, and it really makes it easier for the players. And the crew here at Little Caesars Arena does a great job, especially when they have to switch the ice surface to the basketball floor, back to the ice surface again. But top-notch facility, Little Caesars Arena. It's just a pleasure to work here all the time.
I think the guys are kind of wondering, okay, what are we supposed to do now? Are these people going to make a circle around us?
They're like, wait, we're not used to this.
Yeah, okay, we're watching. What do we do? Do we pick out a fan that we want to go see? Or?
Well, while they're waiting, why don't we talk a little bit more hockey? A guy that we said his name a lot during that game was Ryan Kufner, and we can kind of pair him with Taro Hirose, two guys that had the NHL experience for 9 games, and they both played well. Like we said, Ryan Kufner had a harder time time adjusting and kind of finding his groove, but he seemed to find it here at development camp.
Which is a good sign, which is exactly what he needed to do. And I don't want to sound like I'm getting tough on Ryan Kufner, but he had to dominate at this level, right, Ken? I mean, he had to really come in and prove that, why the Red Wings signed him. And so if he struggled here at development camp, I think that would have sent a red flag up, and he didn't. He actually did not. And he was engaged. He was physical. He made plays. He scored goals. So I think a real shot of confidence to Ryan Kufner. And I'm eager to see him in the prospects tournament and at training camp.
Well, a couple of players that aren't really big names that I thought really stood out was Jared Lukasavage's. We talked about his shot. He had some goals scored yesterday and today. I thought he was good. And the guy that scored the deciding goal in the shootout, Otto Kevin Maki, like you mentioned, he's not a tall guy. He doesn't weigh a lot, but he's highly skilled, highly gifted athlete, and seems to make big plays and good plays, especially in the offensive zone. I thought he was good. And then Mo Sider is a guy that I really wanted to see. I was watching the draft, and you guys were out in Vancouver, but I wanted to see him up close and personal, and I am very impressed with the way he performs. He's got a lot of skill, and he's good on the blue line, and I expect big things from him in the years to come.
Well, he thinks the game very, very well. I mean, Steve Yzerman kind of stressed that, just liked his hockey IQ, his hockey sense, his presence on the ice, and he doesn't get rattled. And, for a defenseman and for a guy that you want hopefully to be a 1 or a 2, at least in your top pair, and I'm pretty sure he's well on his way of becoming a top pair defenseman for the Red Wings, I like... Again, and I know I've talked about it, but I like the way he directs people out on the ice. He's thinking the game, and he's telling guys what to do, and I think he has a calming influence that permeates throughout the team.
And, guys, I'm going to ask you this question. We haven't really talked about it too much, but after development camp, I know we still have a lot to see with the prospects tournament, training camp potentially. What do you see for the near future for Mo Sider, as in next season? What do you think you see for him?
I think a lot of it depends. He's going to get a good look at training camp and at the prospects tournament in Traverse City. And it's just like when Dylan Larkin came here. The coaches gave him every opportunity to perform and see what he could do. And he was the best player out there on the ice, and therefore he made the team. Now, did Dylan Larkin have a lot to learn from that year one? Absolutely. I mean, all players are going to do that. But I think they're going to give him every opportunity, a chance to make the team. And even if he doesn't make the team and goes down to Grand Rapids, they're going to give him that opportunity to just grow down there and then hopefully in the near future be with the big club.
I think if he does not make the Red Wings, and as much as I think we'd all like to see that, I think that's a pretty big. That's going to be a pretty big task for him to make Detroit. The interesting thing is that because he has a clause, he can play in the AHL, even though he isn't 20 years old or has 4 years of junior eligibility like Veleno had, who played at 15 in the Q. So Veleno's in Grand Rapids if he's not in Detroit. I think it's the path for Mo Sider is this: either he's going to be in Grand Rapids or he's going to go back to his team in Germany. He's going to go back to Mannheim, which is a men's league. It's a professional league because Owen Sound owns his OHL rights, but that would be a waste to put him in junior hockey right now. So he's going to be professional either in Grand Rapids or he'll go back to Mannheim.
Well, let me ask you this. Do you think he has any better chance with the state of the Red Wings right now? We know that they need defense. We know that they've been looking for that. Does that help his chances at all, or do you think they're still going to be about letting him grow as a player and letting him develop?
Well, he's got to win a spot. That's the thing. And they're just not going to give it to him, Daniela. He's got to come in and he's got to show that he's better than at least on par with any of the 6 or 7 defensemen that are going to make the club. So if he can perform and he can do the things and he looks good and he plays well, both offensively and defensively, then he's going to get a job. If not, as Art mentioned, the American League's a good league, or if he goes back to Germany, it's it's a good experience playing the men's league there.
And actually, we've talked a lot about this guy too, Taro Hirose. He was in Detroit for a little while and just went through another development camp. So Carly Johnston is actually with him right now. So we'll throw to her for a quick interview.
Spartan Taro Hirose, who just finished up his 2nd development camp here at Little Caesars Arena. How'd it go? How are you feeling?
Good, yeah, definitely exhausted after the long week, but really excited to get out here with the guys and start competing.
So you're on the winning end of the scrimmage today. How did that feel? How was it playing with some of your fellow teammates?
Good, yeah. I mean, you never really know what's going to be like out there. It was a little sporadic at the first couple periods, but we settled in and got the win.
How does it feel playing in front of someone like Steve Yzerman, knowing you're gunning for a job?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's a big step for me and just letting him see my game and the things I can do. So it was a big week for me.
Well, good work. Looking forward to seeing it on the ice.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Guys, back to you.
Thank you, Carly. And there you heard it from Taro Hiroshi. You know, that's such a question to ask. You know, you're playing in front of Steve Yzerman right now. That's your general manager. That's got to be pretty nerve-wracking. But he seemed to do a great job throughout all of this development camp.
Well, you know, this was, as Carly pointed out, this was his second development camp. I really thought last year that the Red Wings were going to offer him a contract. They didn't. I don't know if they had a gentleman's agreement because he was only up the road at Michigan State. But he has been impressive from last year's development camp through being, you know, what he was able to do at Michigan State, through his little stint with the Red Wings there towards the end of the season, and now this development camp, he could be a real find.
Well, the thing I like about Tyler Rossi is the fact that he's a point producer, and you need, if you want to be in the National Hockey Leagues, somehow you got to produce, and you got to put up points, you got to put up numbers. Certainly he had 7 points in 10 games, and that's a good sign for Taro Hiroshi. I expect better things from him in the future.
Well, we saw a lot of good things out of the Red Wings prospect this week here at development camp, and we hope you guys enjoyed all of our coverage because, as we said before, we had a blast doing that for you. So thank you so much for tuning in all week long, and we look forward to seeing you in the fall. Thank you guys. Have a great summer.
See ya.